Okay. I was connecting to the wrong system. Okay, so let me start the database and the application server before we can move ahead. Any doubts and queries from previous topics or sessions?
No, nothing is there from my end.
Good. I think most of you
Uh,
all have yeah, yes, Sada.
Muzaffar, I have a question. Actually,
Yes.
we were installing HANA database yesterday,
Okay.
and yeah, so the server was provided by our LKM team, and there
Mm-hmm.
was no space configured. Okay, so we told them that space is not there.
Okay.
Then they mentioned that it's not necessary. I mean, the same way they used to
Mhm.
give the server to the people, and they successfully install HANA database and use it.
So
So
how much space was there and how much were you like expecting or you required?
okay, I forgot. I mean, yes, we
Uh-huh.
checked the memory, but I don't remember exactly how much memory was there. But space, swap space was zero. Swap was not configured.
Okay, actually swap is if you see in for HANA database, swap is actually not required. Okay,
Mhm.
but as a like you can say as a like a minimum bare practice, you can create a swap of 2 GB. Okay,
Okay.
and that is also because see when you do the installation, if you're doing an on-premise installation, like you are
Mm-hmm.
installing on your hardware on and directly on the hardware, or you are installing on a VMware system or a VM on your on-premise system, when you do the installation of SLES, you cannot move forward without creating a swap partition.
Okay.
Okay, so in that scenario, it is recommended to create a minimum swap size of 2 GB just for namesake.
Okay.
Okay, so I have also been following the same thing in our cloud environment also. In the cloud environment also, it is actually not required to create swap because the memory is more than enough. It's a high, like it's a in-memory database. So swapping is actually not done on the file system or on the OS level. So normally it is not required. But even just in case if just in case if you're doing the installation, it is not moving forward without creating a swap space, you can create for a minimum of 2 GB.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was on AWS, so it was not required. You mean
Because I
swap
think
space?
yes. Yes, if it's already created the images, then you can go ahead with the installation. You won't have like face any issue with that. It would have done properly because see actually now when I do the teaching, it is for like in general. I am not only teaching for
Mm-hmm.
AWS VMs. Okay, the students might be they might be installing this database or any of these application in their on-premise environment, maybe on the physical server, maybe on their VMs. Okay, anywhere else. So I have to keep it open for everything. Okay, if you are doing this, then you
Right.
need this and this. So that is the
Okay.
requirement.
No, no. I mean, normally also I was like, I was in under impression that there was some swap is required, like at least minimum swap should be there. So,
That
yeah.
earlier I also used to think that it is required, but afterwards I realized that what is the use of 2 GB? What is the use of 2 GB again? Like say, if your database has 502 GB of memory, then what is the use of 2 GB memory? So that is only required in case if you're doing the installation of your operating system on the VM, because without giving a swap partition, it doesn't allow you to go forward.
Okay. Okay.
So in that case, you need this swap partition, swap space.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. And if you want, let me installation checklist. No, let me library AWS SLE SAP. Forgot where I kept those documents. AWS Azure Informal Linux RDNS SAP Veeam Veritas Windows reference. I had those guides, installation guides from SUSE, as well as from let me check here, SLE HA740 HANQ server admin installation quick. No, I'll have to check for those files. Those files, they mention that a minimum space of 2 GB, but that is for installation. So I think if you're doing it for AWS Azure, I think it is not required. You can go ahead without that also.
Okay. Okay.
Checklist.
So then in
Cloud.
that case, our virtual memory will be is equal to that resident one, right?
Virtual memory. See, virtual memory. Which virtual memory?
HANA virtual memory.
But you are not creating the swap. Swap is a virtual memory.
Swap
So
plus
if
physical
you are
memory.
not creating swap, then where is the? There is only physical memory. There is no virtual memory.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah.
Virtual memory is your paging or your swapping. But if you are not creating the swap partition, then there will be no paging only. There will be no swapping. So there is no virtual memory.
Okay.
In case of your application server, when you install the application server, there a minimum of 20 GB swap space is required. So there you will have a virtual memory of 20 GB.
Okay, so it's fixed. I mean, 20 GB minimum swap is required in
It's
application.
minimum. It's minimum. It's up to you. Actually, see, it's a longer thing. See, in your previous application, SAP ERP, most of the calculation or execution of these programs or your reports was done on the application level. Okay. So your
Okay.
application needed a high memory, not high memory, but actually needed a memory, and it was recommended to have at least 2 to 3 times of your physical memory. So in case if you have a physical this application server with 32 GB memory, it was required to have like say somewhere by between 90 GB to 100 GB. Okay, that is 3 times with 96 GB. So it was recommended or required for you to have at least 2 to 3 times of your physical memory. That was in the previous ERP. But when SAP as for HANA came into picture, now what they did, all the calculation, all the execution, they pushed it down to the database. Okay, they let me see where is it, TDM 55A. Let me see if I can find that screen. Uh-huh. Where is the screen? Um, oh, I think I lost it somewhere. Should be somewhere in the introduction part only. So, Jesse, that screen was very simple because that's a very good question. Okay, because normally what happens previously, you had to have a like a high amount of virtual memory for your application server. But after S4 HANA, what they did was that they pushed all the calculation, all the execution and calculation part on the database. Since your database is all execution done on the database level itself. So when this was done, your application server became very lean. Okay, it means no high amount of CPU compute was required on your application level. See, you can also have a good working application server with 16 GB memory also. 16 GB memory and 20 GB of minimum this SAP space. Okay, do you get my point?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I don't think I got that. Maybe I will check for it and I will get back to you. So most of that execution, most of that reports execution was pushed down to the database level. So now most of the execution happens at the database level. So the large amount of memory and virtual memory, physical memory as well as virtual memory is not required on the application side.
Okay, and that's why like minimum if it's minimum 20 GB, it will be fine.
Yes, minimum 20 GB is fine. If you are doing it for a production system, then you might need to do some like calculation or maybe like some sizing in advance. But in that case also, because we already have we have installed physical servers with I think minimum with the minimum swap space virtual memory of 20 GB and normally 32 GB of memory, and everything is working fine. We have around something at the peak time there are around 200 concurrent users at the same time. 200 users at peak time. So I think everything is working fine. No issues there on the application side.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason we don't get much like memory issues like in ST02 buffer
Yes,
issues in S4 HANA
yes,
system.
yes, yes. That is the reason.
Okay,
The only
thank
thing is that you have to do the installation implementation properly so that you don't face issues in the future. Because I've seen that the implementation is done so shoddily that they are at the future they like face a lot of problems in their HANA databases.
you.
Okay, so let us start now. Okay, just for your information, all the links from this Azure file share, they expired yesterday. On the 30th of June, they expired. So I have renewed, I have generated new URLs for them, but I have not updated the Excel sheet yet. Once I update the Excel sheet, I will share it in the group. Okay, so I
Okay.
can say all these URLs, this one. If you see the URL, these URLs were valid from 1st of April 2022 up till 30th June 2022. So now I have generated the new URLs for another 3 months, and I will update the sheet and I'll forward it to you. Okay.
Okay, okay. Because like
Uh,
yesterday we doing the yeah this that export files. Okay,
uh-huh.
but what happens now after some time?
Uh-huh.
The this one, only 27 GB is there, right?
Okay.
That Windows system.
Uh-huh. I will have to check your system. See, next time when you do, just let me
No.
know. I'll check it because I think most I think the download size is of I think 27 GB or maybe around 30 GB, not more than that. And you have created a partition for flash packages of I think 40 GB
So
or something. So it shouldn't get full. So you don't think
okay.
next time when you connect to the system, just ping me and we will
No, like
see.
I'm not talking about in no, I'm not talking about Linux. It is
Hmm.
about Windows system.
No, but you don't have to
First, I need to
download.
download in the Windows, right?
No, you don't have to download in the Windows. See, where is it? See, this is a sheet. This is the installation. This is the installation sheet. If you see here, in the you have only what you have done. Okay, in the first sheet, In the first sheet, only the first time you have to download the packages which are related to Bayesian. Only the Bayesian related packages into your Windows Bayesian system. And what are those packages? If you see over here, I think they are hardly 100 MB
Uh,
also. If you come into C
Musafir, your
drive,
voice is breaking.
okay, is it clear now?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Actually, I think we might face some problem today because my internet fiber is not working, so I'm connecting from my mobile.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. No issues.
Okay, so here see this is the file that we have downloaded for your Bayesian system for your Windows system. I think the size is
Correct.
not more than I think 2 GB or something, 3 GB. So this is the only thing which you have to download on your
Yeah.
Windows system. The other software, if you see over here, if you go in
Hmm.
here, you have to copy this AZ copy and SAP car on your Linux system, and from your Linux system /pkgs/AZ copy. You have to run this command on your Linux copy and download all of them into
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Linux system.
Correct, correct. But what happens, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday that link is not running. So
Uh,
that we thought of me and Ram,
uh-huh.
we installed the HANA Studio. Okay, we downloaded the HANA Studio from the SAP Marketplace.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and we
Mm-hmm.
installed that one, and with the
Mm-hmm.
two easy copy only. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
while installing that in SAP S4 HANA, no, we
Mm-hmm.
facing some like we downloaded the softwares,
Uh-huh.
but all are not downloaded. That is
So
the
that
issue.
is a problem. You try to download it on your Windows system and then try to copy it over there.
Yeah, yeah, it is full
So
only.
that is because it will give error because the Windows system the C drive is only of 30 GB.
Yeah, correct.
You don't have enough space for that. I forgot it. I generated the link yesterday only. Gear he was facing problem with the link, so he asked me. I generated the links for him. I gave it to him. But yesterday night when I
Okay.
started your system, I forgot that you will need that link also.
No, no
Okay.
issues, no issues there.
Uh,
But
okay. So,
we at least we learn little bit anything
uh,
like something else also there.
okay, it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so last time what we did, we started the installation of your this language. So if you now go into SMLT, if you check in SMLT, you can see that your Arabic language has been imported successfully. If you can see over here, imported completely. The Arabic language has been imported completely in your application server. Okay, if you want to test the Arabic language, then what you need to do, you have to again open a new login window, and you have to give your log user, and here you have to change the language to Arabic. For Arabic, we have to change it to Arabic. Now enter. Okay, can you see over here? Now the language has changed to Arabic. Now if I click on the middle one, okay, see everything, all window will now come into Arabic only. Okay, all most of the things wherever it will find a translation, it will change it to your the Arabic language. Wherever there is no translation or no language available, it will show you in the supplementary language which is selected at the time of installation. Okay,
Also, SAP has provided Arabic language also.
yes, Arabic.
Great.
Middle East is one of the biggest customer.
Hmm.
Okay, and
And
I
you
think
understand these, like what it's written?
I can read it, but I cannot understand it.
Okay.
Okay, so here you can see that you can open whatever language is installed in your system. You can log in with that language. So this is an example of your Arabic language. Okay, so this is it. So we have installed the language. So it was completed successfully. Last time we completed the installation, and I took a backup of the database also. So this till this part we have completed. Now let us start with this part. SS also is completed. Now let us take this part of SMTP configuration, sending emails from your SAP application server. Okay, so how we can do that? So you can start over here. First thing, you need to create a node. You have to create a node in the Scott T code. Okay, /NSCOT. You have to go into this T code. Okay, here you have to create, this is the option over here. If you see the wizard over here, create node using the wizard. If you click on the small arrow, it says create node using the wizard or create node. Just click on create node. So in create node, what you need to do, node, you have to give the name of the node. What will be this node used for? So I'm giving it the name as email. Okay, if you want to give any description, I can mark it as Gmail. Okay, I'll be using the Gmail server for sending mails from my system. 10 minutes, hours and minutes. So I'm giving the minutes in 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, it will say, it will run a job to send the mails from your system to the external system. Next is your mail host. The mail host smtp.gmail.com. Then mail port 587. Then you need to click on the settings. Okay, here in the settings, you have to security level, use TLS if possible. So drop down, use TLS if possible. Client identity anonym SSL client. Client identity anonym SSL client. Okay. Then username. So this is the username we shall be using for sending and receiving my one. Okay, and just 1 minute, I think I'll have to get the password for it. Just give me 1 minute. I'll have to search for this password because normally I don't require to enter the password. Everything is saved.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so yes, I've got the password. Now let me just paste it over here. Okay, paste the password. Click on OK. It is defined. TLS is not used. Do you want to apply the settings? Yes. Okay, so now this is done. I think we can just save it and come out of the screen. Okay, so your node is created. Now you can see that your node has been created. This is my node. Email now supported address type. Okay, we missed one thing. You just again have to double click on it. And I think you need to click on supported address type, internet. Click on set. Now here you have to set which to which domain you need to send allowed to for sending outgoing emails. Okay, here I have allowed only for hotmail.com. It means only hotmail, only the mails which has a destination of hotmail.com will be like allowed from this SAP application server. Okay, so no other domain. If I make a star over here, if you put a star, it means all the domains will be allowed. But that is like it's a like an open thing. I mean, and any user can send a mail from this application server to any of the domain. Okay, they can even send it to their local say they might get some sensitive data, classified data, and they can send the email to directly to their your personal mail IDs. So which is I think it is not recommended by your company's security policy. So instead of giving a star, you can allow only to those specific domains. Okay, for example, the company has requested you allow, for example, star at the rate aws.com, star at the rate azure.com, only the known domains of other companies businesses related to the company's businesses, that domains only will allow from your outgoing emails. So here I am giving hotmail.com and okay. Okay, so here it is. Now I can see the details over here. It will allow PDFs, it will allow HTML and TXTs. Okay, so this part is done. Now we have created the node. The node creation is done. This node will be used for sending your mails. Now second step is to set the default domain. Okay, default domain means your domains from where the mails will originate. Okay, so you have to go into settings, and here there's an option for default domain. Settings, default domain. So here you have to set the default domain. So I'm setting the default domain as solutrix.in. Okay, the default domain will be solutrix.in. I have saved this. Second setting done. Okay, test mail. Now you can send a test mail. So now I'm sending a test mail on this mail ID, muzaffar.ansari@hotmail.com. So how can send a test mail? Utilities, go into utilities and send test mail. It will ask you for the recipient to whom you want to send this mail. So I'm giving this name. Enter. Okay, this is my muzaffar.ansari@hotmail.com. Okay, so this is my email ID. Now let's see. Let me refresh it. Okay, I've still not received it. I think the reason is that I sent it, but it is not executed yet. How we can execute it? So I think there's a second step over here. After sending the mail, you have to execute the send request. Sorry, I made a mistake over here. See, normally what happens, you have to schedule the job will run every 10 minutes. So whatever mails are there in it, whenever any user sends a mail, it will be added in the queue. After every 10 minutes a job will trigger this send job. It will take all the mails which are there in the queue, and then it will send it to the external servers. Okay, so right now we have not scheduled any job for that sending mail. So if you what you need, we have to go into SOST and manually trigger the mail. You have to go into SOST. So here from here I am running SOST. Okay, so can you see here by email, test email, SAP sender, SAP recipient Hotmail, send it, and the message 672. What it says, waiting for communication service. So this is the queue actually. This is the queue for your emails. All mail that you send over here, it will come here in this queue. All the mail that you send, it will come in this queue. For example, let me send, and again I will send one mail. Settings, utilities, send a test mail. I'm again sending a mail. This time I'm sending it to muzaffar.ansari82 at gmail.com. Okay, I'm sending this mail. It says the message was sent. Again, when you come into SOST, if you come over here and you refresh this page, you can see that both the mails over here. This is the Hotmail mail which I sent from to Hotmail, and this is the mail which I have sent to Gmail. Both are in the waiting list. Both are waiting for a job to trigger and execute them, send them. So how can you send them? You need to go in the send request, SOST, utilities, start send process, utilities, start send process. This is, you have to, we are triggering it manually. We are triggering this job manually. Enter. Okay, once you trigger this, just click on start. Once you click on start, now it will start sending these emails. It has attempted to send the both of these email. Click on OK. Okay. Okay, so can you see this mail to the hotmail.com? This mail, what does it say? 718. What it says? Recipient muzaffar.ansari is valid. It means the email ID is valid. Delivery attempted. They have attempted the delivery. If you want to see the long text, you can click on long text over here. Okay, the SAP system has transferred the message to the connected mail server. The mail server has recognized the data for the recipient, this hotmail.com as valid, and will deliver for forward the message as this. Okay, so this mail was sent successfully. Which one? The Hotmail mail was sent successfully. Let me test in my browser. Okay, can you see over here? My mail has arrived, SAP admin. What is the subject? Test mail. This is a test mail. The subject is a test email, and here is the and where it has arrived from. It is arrived from muzaffar.ansari82 at gmail.com, from this one. and the SAP user was SAP admin. Okay, and if you see for the next mail, it has failed. The second mail has failed. Why it has failed? If you see over here, cannot process message, no node determined for just a moment, just please excuse me. Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry for the disruption. Yeah, am I audible clearly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay. Okay. So you can see over here, cannot process message, no node determined for muzaffar.ansari@gmail.com. Okay, it cannot find any node through which it can send or validate this email ID. I've created one node over here. Okay, but this node is only for star.hotmail.com. So it cannot find any node through which it can deliver this mail to gmail.com. Okay, so this is not a technical issue. This is just a issue of policy, or you can say authorization. In the long text, to configure processing, the system requires an active node that is responsible for the recipient muzaffar.ansari@gmail.com. Can you see? So if you want to again rectify or correct this error, you can copy this domain. Okay, I will copy this domain and I will go to this one and it, and here I will add it. Okay, so from hotmail.com, I'm also adding gmail.com and click on OK. Okay, now if you see, it will have both the address. So this. Now let me try to attempt the second one. Let me see. Okay, so here it is. Let me settings. Sorry, go to utilities, start send process. Okay, click on start. Okay, did it attempted? No, I think it didn't attempted this message. Maybe I think I have to select set wait time, repeat send. Send the same recipient again. Okay. Okay, so again it has gone into repeat. It is now in the waiting state. Again going to utilities, start the send process. Start. Okay, now it is trying to resend the message which was failed in the last attempt. Okay. Can you see again it has given the 718 message, which means the delivery was attempted. Okay, it says delivery was attempted. It was not, it doesn't say delivery delivered, because the delivered message will be confirmed from the SMTP mail server. The SMTP mail server of the Gmail server. This server, this SAP application server has just forwarded your mail to the SMTP server. SMTP server will attempt the delivery. If it is successful, it will give a successful message. If it fails, it will give a fail message. Do you get this point? Now if I check my Gmail, okay, can you see me test mail? Okay, SAP admin Muzaffar.Ansari this and test mail. This is a test mail that I send it now. Is it clear, everyone? Any questions, any queries in this? So what the steps that you need for sending, configuring SMTP in your application server? You have to create a node. In the node, you have to create the name of the node by which you want to create it, description, what will be the time for execution of this node. Okay, then what will be the outgoing, the SMTP server, SMTP port in the settings, settings for the TLS SSL settings, then the user ID and the password with which you are attempting this, you will send the mail from this application server, and then to the outgoing server on which which are authorized to be sent mail on. Is this part clear?
One question.
Yes, G.
I don't understand the time to send the email. 10 minutes. It means that if you send an email, it will take 10 minutes to. I
See
don't
what
know.
it says: maximum waiting time for repeat send attempt procedure. Do you get this point?
Okay.
Maximum waiting time for repeat send attempt. It means the system attempted one attempt. The system did one attempt. Out of the 10 mails, 5 mails were not delivered or 5 mails got failed. So maximum it will wait for 10 minutes. Again after 10 minutes in the next
Okay,
job, it will
okay,
attempt
okay.
attempt the sending of that mail.
It's
Okay.
clear now. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that is the query. So yeah, first thing that is that you need to create a node. This is the configuration settings for your node, how you can create a node. Okay, this is the user and password which will be used for sending mail from your application server. This should be an authorized, or you can say this should be an valid user. It means this user and the password should be valid. For example, this is my Gmail user ID. If you see, this is my Gmail inbox. So this user, my user ID and password both are in working condition. So I can only use the user ID password which are in which is valid or in working condition. So I'm using this username password. This is the domains in which I can send emails. Okay, and these are the other settings, everything. Then you have to set a default domain. You cannot send a mail without a default domain. So first thing you need to create a domain. Second, you need to set default domain, and in the third attempt you are sending the mail. Okay, you are sending the mail, but the mail will not be attempted because it has to be done. There should be some job triggered for sending the mail. So TC for testing a mail, what we did, we went and manually we did the send request manually. Send request manually. So I will let you make it manually. So this part is manually. So we are sending the mail, but we are executing it manually. So I executed manually and the delivery was attempted. Now if you want to schedule the job, see, every now and then you cannot go in the system and manually send each and every job for every after every 10 minutes. So what you will do, you will schedule a send job. When you schedule a send job, every 10 minutes that job will be triggered and it will send all the mails which are there in the queue. You get my point? So how can you schedule the job? Go in the setting SOST, sorry, SCOT. In the SCOT, you need to go in the settings and then you have something over here, send jobs, top one, send jobs. So you go in the settings, send jobs, schedule job for INT. INT means internet. So here you can say, yeah, here you have to now click over in this icon, create. After clicking on send jobs, I can see the screen for send jobs. If you see the screen over here, if you see this is the screen, this is the screen for send jobs. In this send jobs screen, what you have to do is that you have to click on this create icon, create job for fax, internet, pager, printer, RML, X40. This also I am creating a send job for internet. Create a send job for internet. So create send job for internet, job values, everything will be default. No need to make any changes. You just have to give the user over here. So make this user background user, instead of SAP IDM, make it DDIC. Okay, why I'm changing this user is that, see, you can continue with the SAP admin user also, but in the future, see, SAP admin is your administrative user. Okay, so for administrative user, there might be some policy in the system which will ask you every 90 days, every 60 days to change the password. It will forcefully expire the password of the user. Or at some time, if you think that your password is leaked, many people know about the password, you will change it. If you change the password of this SAP admin user, these jobs will start failing. Okay, once you change the password for this user, these jobs will start failing. So just for this just for the security, what you're doing, you are in the background user, you're selecting as DDIC, because DDIC is a system user. Nobody can log in into the system with your DDIC user. So you can use this DDIC user for execution of this job, background job. So just change the user, click on continue. Okay, so once can you see your job has been defined over here. If you see over here, see the job is defined, scheduled. If you see the job class, it is in the A category. The job class is in the A category. This is the name of the job, SAP Connect Internet Send. Okay, if you see the sorry, if it's the frequency, you can see the frequencies for every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes the job will be sent. You can also is full send request, this plan start condition. See, you can see there it will start from the 2nd of July. The job will be created on 2nd of July from 3 o'clock 7 minutes. So now it is 3 o'clock 4 minutes. After 3 minutes, this job will trigger. For example, if I don't want to trigger from here, I can put it as 3:10 also, so that every 10 minutes the job will trigger. Okay, here you can now, if you have changed some value, you can just click on save. I will click on the save. So this job will trigger every 10 minutes, and you can see the step. What will be the step? It will call a report RSC-CONN01. This is a program type, parameter, and everything. It will call this report for execution, everything. Now you can just save this job. Once the job is saved, you can see it over here. So this is the name of the job, SAP Connect INT Send. In address type internet, period every 10 minutes, plan start 3 hours 10 minutes, work process 1, status scheduled. Okay, if you double click on this, I think not this one, maybe I think if you double click this, same. So if you want to see this job, you need to go into /o SM37. Go in SM37, you can check for all the jobs starting from the DDIC user. Okay, job name, I think our job started with SAP. What was the name of this job? SAP Connect. So the job name started with SAP Connect. SAP Connect star. Okay, these are the status, today's date. Let me execute. No, it is not showing. Let me go into scheduled. Okay, we actually scheduled this job. No, SAP Connect DDIC.
I think job owner is a SAP admin.
username. Okay, let's see. No, because it will scheduled by the user DDIC. Okay, yeah, sorry. It was
Internally, the
created.
step user will be.
The step user, it will call use as the authentication, it will use DDIC, but the user is a SAP admin. So here it is. You can see this job has been released. Release means this job has been scheduled. This job is now ready for execution. At starting from 3:10. At 3:10, this job will automatically get triggered, and after that, every 10 minutes this job will trigger. Okay, even if there are nothing in the queue, even if you have not sent any mail, if you even if nothing there is in the queue, this job will anyhow get triggered. It will check the queue. If there is no users pending for sending request, it will just complete success. It will just finish off, complete it. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is
Muzaffar, I have a question
yes.
regarding mail port.
Uh-huh.
So normally, I mean, maybe it's my misconception, but
Uh-huh.
I thought like mail port 25 is for Gmail and
Yes.
587 is for Outlook Office
No. See,
365.
actually, if you want to check, I don't have the link. I forgot it. If you want Gmail SMTP settings, just go for Gmail SMTP settings or SMTP server settings. So here you will get it. This is from support.google.com. How do I set up SMTP for Gmail? How do I set up SMTP? How do here also check Gmail through email platforms. So if you want to configure your Gmail in your Outlook or maybe in your mobile or anywhere else, somewhere you are using this account for sending emails. Okay, for receiving it will be POP. For sending it will be SMTP. So if you
Mm.
see over here, use the SMTP relay service. So if you see over here, configuration options, port number 25, 465, 587. So this is for your different ports. And if you are using a TSL, I think it's a SSL and TSL, then it will be 587. Setup SMTP relay service, other setup
Okay,
option,
that
use the
25 is
GMTP.
not secured one; it's unsecured
Yeah,
port.
actually, but if you see that if you configure it 25, then your mail will not be sent. Okay, even in an unsecured manner also it will not be sent because 25 is not in use. See here you can see the option 465 is for SSL required and port 587 is for TLS required. 25 is not here in this picture. Okay, this is for your Gmail SMTP server configuration. These are the whole steps for your configuration. You can also use the restricted one also. In the restricted one, I think you can use the port 25. TLS not required, dynamic IP is allowed, and all these are for the restricted Gmail SMTP server.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a 587 port. And I think 587 port is now the normal port for any service, even for port
Yeah,
3.
where we use TLS, so we use
Yes.
380,
Even for
587.
Office 365, you will use 587. Even if you have a Yahoo mailbox, you can configure it using 587. Okay, so this I think this is a common over here. If you when you check for like business business Yahoo mail setup and things, here also you'll find the port number Bizmail. Yes, Bizmail. Here also you'll find that the port number is 587. Create a Google account. No, I think this is not the correct link. Okay, so that is it. So this is the settings how you can configure using your. So here I'm using a Yahoo Gmail account just for showing you the configuration. In your company, it will be quite different. You might have your in-house this one.
SMTP
Microsoft
servers.
Exchange. You might have your own Microsoft Exchange server. You might have your own Yahoo. Sorry, not Yahoo. You might have your own internal Linux Gmail server, which may work on postfix or may work on sendmail, any of the empty this mail server. Okay, you might have something called as Zimbra also. You might have something called the other mail servers also in the market nowadays. So you might have any of the mail server based on this. So what you will have to do, you'll have to request your organization to create a mail ID, especially only for sending emails, mail notifications. You can configure this user in your SAP application server. Okay, and using this you can send mail alerts to your users and all. Is that clear?
Yes. So you mean this user, like which user we are using to authenticate the sending email? This user
This is my
should be,
user.
yes. So this
uh,
user should be present in user zero USR02 table. I mean, we should
no, no,
create this
no,
user also.
see actually, see what is happening. 1 minute. Okay, now if you see over here, see this is your application server. This is my S4 HANA application server. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Now see, S4 HANA application server cannot send mails to any user, to any email ID. Okay, because it doesn't has the you can say expertise, not expertise, it doesn't has that capability of sending email. So how can you send emails from here? You need a mail server. What you need is a mail server, because the mail server are the things which are, you can which actually have the capability to send emails, send, or you can also create relay emails, send or relay emails. So this is a mail server. So if your application users, if any of the application users, for example, in my case, in our case, we might have different application user. Okay, so in our case right now, what application user we are using? We are using the SAP admin user. This is our application user. I'll just make it a small. Okay, this is my application user. So my application user, SAP admin, wants to send a mail to a user. He wants to send a mail to a user. For example, this is a user over here. Okay, so this is the user over here. I want to send a mail to this user. Now my application, now S4 HANA application server, this cannot send a mail directly to this user. Even if the user is sitting in the same office, even if the user is sitting in the same premise also, application server cannot send a mail directly to this user. Okay, so what it needs to do, this user needs to create an email ID. This user, so what this user will do, he will create a email ID, his own email ID in one of the mail server. So he will create a user ID in the Gmail mail server. Okay, he will create his user ID in the Gmail. So now Gmail server will have a user by the name of, I hope I'm not complicating things over here. Okay, so this is the user of your mail server. So this is my mail server user. Similarly, here is my application server user. This is my application server user. Okay, and this is my mail server. Now this user, this is the user. For example, this is me, Muzaffar. Okay, this user wants to send a mail to receive a mail from the application server. So then the application server cannot send a mail directly to the user. So this user will create his own email ID on this Gmail server. He will create his own email ID in the Google Mail server, which is your, do you get this? This is the Gmail mail server. So the user will create his mail ID in the Gmail mail server. This is the email ID of the user, google.mail.ansari@google.com. Now, when the application, in the application server, you have to create a node. So this is the configuration for creating the node. In the create the node, you have to do all this configuration. You have to give the user ID and the password by which you will be authenticated for sending email. Okay, for example, this is the, you will create a user here and you will configure this application server. So now this application server, it will be configured with the user of gmail.com. This is the user, sorry, that gmail muzaffar.ansari@gmail.com. Now when this application server wants to send any email, that email, for sending that email, it will log into the Gmail server, and Gmail server will ask authentication from the user. Okay, you want to send a mail from my server, what is your authentication? Are you authorized to send mail? So you will use the authentication of muzaffar.ansari@gmail.com. So the Gmail server will authenticate the application server with this email ID, and then only it will allow to send emails through this Gmail mail server, Google mail server. Do you get it? I
Yes,
think
yes.
1 minute. I think there might be everybody else. Is it everything clear to you? Any doubts? Any
Yes.
queries? Let me make it one more thing.
Okay, so I mean, this
Hmm.
ID and password which you have provided in the
Mhm.
port, it's
Mhm.
not required to be created in SAP, but that should be present in the mail
In the
server
mail
port.
server, the mail server on
Yeah,
which
mail
you will be
server.
using for sending mails.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
actually, I
Yeah.
made one mistake over here. Now let me see. For example, your company, my company is Solutrix. Okay, so here it is. So I do for the Solutrix over here. So this is one uh, mailbox. This is my mail server. This is the mail server.
Mhm.
This is the mail server for Solutrix. This is the mail server for Solutrix. This is the mail server for Gmail. Okay, and then again I might have multiple servers.
Yes, so from that Gmail server, you can send to any of the recipient
Yes, any
based
of the
on like
recipient.
as per the restriction you have made in that recipient area.
Yes. So Hotmail, I think Hotmail will be for Microsoft. Okay, so here it is. So now see, this is your mail server, not only mail server, this is my SMTP server. I just change it to SMTP. The reason I'm changing it, that SMTP means this mail server will be used for sending email.
Mhm.
Sending email to any of the recipient. Now for example, my user SAP admin, okay, SAP admin wants to sell email from your S4 HANA application server to any other user, maybe to someone on the Solutrix mail server, to someone on the Gmail by Microsoft. For example, they might be having a user, they will have a user in the Solutrix somewhere by the name as Muzaffar at Solutrix.in. So this is my user at Muzaffar at Solutrix. This is a user which is there in Solutrix. There also might be a user in the server. Okay, say example here it is MUZ Muzaffar dot Ansari at hotmail.com. Okay, so this user, the Solutrix user, is in this mailbox. Okay, so now what is happening? Let me just save it on the desktop. Yes. So now your user SAP admin wants to send a mail to, for example, say the Solutrix user. So for sending a mail to Solutrix, you cannot, this application server cannot send the mail directly to the Solutrix mail server. What you need in between is a SMTP server. What you need in between is an SMTP server, which is also called as an, sorry. So this is it. It is also called as an MTA, mail transfer agent. This is your mail transfer agent. So what happens? You need an SMTP server for sending mail from your application server to any other recipients. So what you will do, you will configure an SMTP server. Now when this user SAP admin, when this user will send the mail to this user, for example, muzaffar.ansari@solidtricks.in. So this mail will first go on your mail server. From this mail server, it will be authenticated with this user. It will ask you the password for this user at ansari muzaffar.ansari82@gmail.com. Once this gets authenticated on the SMTP server, the SMTP server will send a mail to the end user. Do you get it? The
Yes.
SMTP server will send a mail to the end users. Okay, and in the recipient mail ID, you will see this mail only. You will see this mail. If you see the mail over here which I have received, this is from the Hotmail. It's the user, sending user is SAP admin. But when you see the sender, can you see the sender? It is muzaffar.ansari82@gmail.com. Again, if you search in the Gmail also, see this is the sender name. So if it gets authenticated on the Gmail server
I
plus.
think this is because Muzaffar, this is because maybe you have put email of this SAP admin user as Muzaffar.ansari in
Okay,
no.
yes. See, now this is, for example, this is SAP admin user. You don't want to send the email by this username. Okay, you want to send the email of this SAP admin something as say like Muzaffar at say like a maybe like make it as solidtricks.in. Okay, you want to send the email as solidtricks.in. You don't want to see this email coming in the user's inbox. Was that your question?
Yes.
Okay, so now what happens? See, now if you want to send the user, for example, SAP admin is sending the mail. If you want to see the sending a mail sender as this mail ID, then what you need to do is that you need to go into SU01 of this user SAP admin. SU01 of the SAP admin user, and what you need to do, you need to give this this email address over here as this one. Can you get it?
Yes, so yeah, that was my question. So if email address is not provided, then
Mhm.
it will use the address which is there in that SMTP authentication.
Yes. See, there is a catch over here. It's so if this email ID is not provided here, it is taking the mail ID by which you have configured the SMTP server. Okay.
Yes.
Second, sometimes what happen if I give the mail something here as like if I give the email ID here as muzaffar.ansari@solutricks.in, if I save this and if I try to send the email, see the mail will fail. It will not send the mail. Okay, and the reason the mail will fail is that not because that your application server is not sending. The reason will be that it will be rejected at your mail server. Do you get this point? The reason why is this because see you have configured your mail server. You have configured your mail server with this mail ID.
Yes.
Okay, so you cannot change the sender's email ID to a different one. You cannot
Yes.
send the sender's mail ID to a different because you are authenticating with this user. So the originating mail ID will also be the same. Has to be the same. If it doesn't match, if there is a change in it, your this Gmail server will reject the mail, reject the incoming mail. It will not relay. It will not send it further to the end user. Do you get this? See,
Yes.
because what happens normally, anyone can go into SU01 and they can change it. For example, I will send a mail with this name as muzaffar.ansari@microsoft.com. Okay, I will use the authentication from my Gmail ID muzaffar.ansari@gmail.com. But when the end user will receive that mail, he will receive the mail as muzaffar.ansari@microsoft.com. But who has validated whether this user has an account with Microsoft or not? Okay.
Yes.
And this is actually what you are saying is that this is called as email spoofing. Email spoofing means I can send a mail from anywhere else. We used to do this practical somewhere, I said 15 20 years before, not 20 years before, sorry, I think 15 years before. Okay, while playing we used to say we used to send any email. I can even send a mail from bill.gates@microsoft.com to any user. That was called as email spoofing. It was very simple. You could have sent it from any mail server. You can go over there, you can send a mail for actually what we used to do, we used to configure our own mail server. We configured our own mail server in the Linux box. What you needed was just an active internet connection. You can configure your mail server. From that mail server, I can send a mail, send as the sending email ID can be the bill.gates. It can also be like this amitabh.bachchan. It can also be shahrukh.khan at from this and this that. So that is called as email spoofing, because the sender will see, this is coming from an official mail ID, maybe this is an authentic email. So now what they have done, they have restricted many of the things. You cannot, you can, if you are originating from this mail, from this mail ID, the mail will be sent from that mail ID only. If you have an in your like a email, as I think in-house exchange server, there you have some settings where you can configure this. Okay, don't compare the mail ID. Even if you are sending email ID is different, you can send the mail from the mail ID which is configured in your SU01.
Yeah, so in our systems, it was configured like in SMTP server, there were few email IDs which were getting authenticated and others are not. So whenever like a few in production system, few jobs, like there was a fixed user ID which only can send emails to the client.
Okay.
Yeah, so that type of authentication was happening there.
Yes, I think they might have authenticated something. They might have hard coded somewhere in there over that only these user IDs can send email. Okay, maybe I think in their exchange or in their exchange server, they might have only added those email IDs for sending emails.
Yes, so like you mentioned this Muzaffar.Ansari 82, this was used for authentication
Yeah,
in
this
our
is used for
SMTP server,
authentication.
but mail sending users were different and there were
Yes.
only few users, which like only few users could be identified in that SMTP server
See,
and others are not.
this was because your mail server, whichever it was, maybe it might have been exchange server. So
Yeah,
this
it
was
was
the settings
exchange.
on the exchange server which allowed this method. Okay, which allowed this method that the authentication user will be different, but the send as user, the sender email ID can be separate also. But it doesn't mean that it will you can send any email ID, because there is external security layer over that. You
Yes,
only allow some particular user IDs to be sent as mail IDs. That was it.
yes, yes.
In the previous, in I think maybe some years back, 8 to 10 years back, you could have done it very easily. You can send any, you can configure any user in SU01 and you can just do from a Gmail or Yahoo authentication. You can send this mail as the one from your SU01 mail ID. But now they have done more level of security, and so now it is not possible like this way. Okay, I think this one is not required over here, because my mail server, my company is solutrix.com, and I'm sending the mail to this one, Microsoft mail server. Okay, is that clear? Any doubts, any queries? Yes.
No.
Okay, so this is how you configure for outgoing. Now see, I think we have already completed 10, 10, 10, 20. Let me refresh it. See, if I refresh this screen, you can see 2 jobs have been triggered in the last release time. Okay, because the next date for the trigger was 3:10, and after every 10 minutes, so after 3:10 it executed again at 3:20. Okay, so now every 10 minutes you will see this job in the mail, in the job list. Okay, so SMTP configuration is completed. Now we have to start with the Fiori configuration. Okay, so it will take some time. I think we'll take 10 minutes break, not more than that, and we will continue after that. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay, so see you at after 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
okay.
Mail. Now we are going to configure our SAP Fiori. Okay, I think most of the people may be like aware about what is SAP Fiori. Anybody here who is not aware about SAP Fiori, just let me know so that I can go into more detail about it. Yes. Yes, anyone?
Yes.
Yes, what any idea about what is Fiori? Okay, so just I'll just give a brief about what is Fiori and all. So actually, sometime back, not some yes, I think maybe sometime back, maybe 5 years before, all the transaction, mostly all the activity interaction with the SAP server were used to done through your SAP GUI. Okay, you used to do all the transactions through your SAP GUI program. Okay, and even there was some limited transactions or some extra transactions that were done through HTTP also. For example, in case of your HR, you had in your HR you had this. If you remember, there was an earlier product called as SAP EP Enterprise Portal. Enterprise Portal was that product which was integrated with your SAP application server, and you can have a HTTP view of your most of your information in your day in your system in your browser. Okay, for example, you used to have you used to have your company's website integrated with your SAP application. So for example, when you log in into your account, you can also check the you can log in into your personal page and you can apply for leaves. Okay, you used to have link over there. You can click on that link and you can get a form where you can apply for your leave. For example, I need a leave, you need to reason for leave, from what time, from what date to which date, and then many things. Then your next manager who is responsible for your leave, and then you can submit from your company portal, and that request will go to your manager and everything like that. So those things are managed through HTTP. Now after Fiori, what they did, SAP now, instead of having, because see, the interaction in the enterprise portal, the integration was already in place. Okay, there were all these tags and all which you can use to configure the front end, but the front end was missing. You had to configure your own front end. You had to have your own website. You need to have your own company's website portal. You need to design your own company's portal, and then you need to do all the designing for all the front end, creating all the links, creating all the fields, creating all the forms, creating all the pages. Okay, for your, for example, employee self-service, manager self-service, and for some other information that you want to get from your SAP application server. So all this programming, all this designing had to be done additional. It was an additional headache. But now, since the introduction of Fiori, what SAP has done, they have streamlined. Okay, they have made it very simple and very easy. Now you don't need a separate website. You don't need your own portal. You don't need your own domain. Okay, you don't need to design the front end. Everything is there. Everything has been done by SAP. Only thing is that you just need to activate the apps, Fiori apps, that you need, that you want to use. For example, in your company, most basic application will be your HR related applications, HR apps. What are they? For example, leave application. A user or one employee wants to go on a leave. He wants to apply for his leave application. Then for example, manager, from the manager side, the manager can approve the leave. Okay, then for example, time attendance, a user can mark his own time attendance on the portal. Then there are many things like for a reimbursement claim for reimbursement, LTA claim, leave and travel allowance, and many other information. Okay, then everything can be done from the so for everything in SAP GUI, SAP has an T code. SAP has a program for all of these activities. All of these things can be done from the SAP GUI program. Okay, they can run T code, but for doing this, the user has to be very technical. Okay, they need to log in into the SAP system. They need to call this T code, and then they need to fill all these forms, and they need to submit it. So now what they have done, they have brought in a parallel interface okay, which is also designed on SAP UI, SAP user interface, which is a totally new UX, user experience. Okay, so in this, you what you need to do, there are all for every T code, for every program, there is a matching, or there is a parallel Fiori apps for that. So for the same ticket, for creating a sales order in SAP GUI, you might have a T code. In SAP Fiori, you will have an app for that. You will have a Fiori app for calling that program in the browser. Okay, so what you need to do, for example, if you want to give any authorization to any user in Fiori, you need to give the user the for those particular apps, you need to give the user the security of that authentication for that, authorization for that apps, and all these apps will be visible on the user's homepage. Is it clear till now? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is, if you want to have an example like how does SAP Fiori web page looks like, you can have a look at the SAP support portal. Okay, support.sap.com. This is the website. This is the website for here. You will find a launch pad in this website. Okay, if you see, you can see over here, access my launch pad. See, this is not a Fiori web page. This is not a Fiori page. Don't get confused with this. You can see access my launch pad. When you click on the launch pad, what you see over here is a classic example of a Fiori web page. So all the content of this screen is loading from your Fiori. Okay, you can see the page over here. You can see all these different, see these are the tiles. See, these are called as tiles. You can see different tiles. Each tiles, instead of links, see, in this normal web page you will find links. In this normal web page, see, these are the links. This is a link. Okay, this is a link. Even this some images also contains links. If you click on this image, it will open something. This is a link. This is a link. Okay, but here in this, everything will be a tiles. Every link or every, you can access any application or information using a tile. So this is a tile. These are called as tile. If I click on this tile, what will it do? It will report, it will open a page, it will open a form for creating a new incident. Okay, then these are the categories. These are the categories of this page. Solutions and incidents. Below that, you have system operations and maintenance. Under system operations, I have this many number of tiles. But these tiles or these apps are related to that particular heading or that particular category, system operations and maintenance. This is it. Software downloads. If you want to click the software download software, you can click on this tile. Product availability metrics, hot news. Also, you will see that this some of these tiles, they are dynamic. Dynamic means some content of this style will change automatically. For example, you can find here 63. If you just bring the mouse over here, you will see a pop-up what it says SAP hot news 63. So right now there are 63 hot news related to your system. Okay, here you can see there are zero early watch alert report. Okay, here you can see 150. So these figures, they changes dynamically. If in the backend the figures changes from 150 to 160, it will also be a change from here directly in the screen here itself. Okay, you can see bar also, some upgrade, some bars also here. So in the news, you can see in this bar it is filled and this is showing as 29, updated 98. Okay, so these are some, and you also have some news tiles also, news tiles. In the news tiles, you can get multiple news over there. You will see that it gets updated dynamically. The news on the tiles will get updated dynamically. So this is an example of your Fiori. 1 minute. Okay, yeah, sorry for the interruption. So this is an example of a Fiori web page. So instead of having, you can have different applications using a different tiles over here. You can access different application in your environment. What you can have, so you can have different categories. For example, for a user who is also who has some responsibilities in the HR field. Okay, maybe he does some activity in the HR, maybe he has some activity in the finance also. So he might be needing some apps from the from the HR domain, and he might not need access to some apps from the finance domain also. So what he will do, here will be the heading, for example HR. So he will get a heading something over here, HR. So all the HR related apps for which he is authorized, he will get those tiles over here. For the finance related apps, you will see a category over here for finance, and for those finance related apps, you will see the tiles over under that category. Okay, is that point clear? Yeah, yes, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so that is it. So now let us start. So this was an example of your SAP support portal. In your case, so first you have to start with your configuration. So it is not that easy. So for activating Fiori, for configuration Fiori, there are a lot number of steps. If you see over here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see there are 5 steps required for activating a Fiori. Okay, and that also, these are not the complete steps. Okay, this is only the steps which we can do in our environment. Okay, for doing further configuration and changes, you will need the license for that. But at least in this configuration, you will get the Fiori Launchpad web page, and you can see some tiles over there. So these are the steps 4, and then comes the 5. Okay, so first one, what you need to do is your activate embedded analytics. This is for your activating embedded analytics. This is the task list for that. This is the task list for activating embedded analytics. So this is the T code for opening the task list. So here I am opening the T code STC01. Here I need to execute this task list. Now, what are actually task lists in SAP? See, these are similar to like if you have any information about your Linux operating system, for example, you have a shell script. What do you do in a shell script? What you do, for example, you have to do a number of tasks, multiple tasks. You have to do a numbering of tasks multiple times. So instead of running that multiple commands, for example, 100 number of times, what you will do, you will put that command in a shell script. You will make a shell script of it, and anytime when you need to run or execute that series of command, you will just execute the shell script. So all those commands which are there inside that script will be executed in that order. Okay, you can say that it's a program, it's a script. So here your task list is something like that only. Okay, so instead of having all those multiple activities which you have to do it manually, SAP has created task list for you. In fact, you also can create your own task list as per your requirement. So SAP has created task list for you. You can go and you can execute that task list for doing multiple activities. So here we are executing this task list, SAP BW setup initial S4 HANA task list for activating embedded electro analytics. If you want to see any details, you can check in this SAP note. Okay, so now I am executing this task list. Here it is, generate task list run. So first it will generate the task list. When you click on it, it will actually generate the task list. It will not directly go and execute it. It will generate the steps, different steps which are there in this task list. Okay, so you can see on the screen, these are the different steps for your task list. All things related to your BW component. What are this is the task description, confirm reading of note. Okay, so here you have to do some confirm, you have to do some manual activity, check prerequisite, set check BW client, BW statistics globally. These are all the steps. So instead of doing all these steps manually, they have put all of them in a task list, and now you can execute that task list. Okay, now let me execute the task list. So here is the task. If you go on the screen, here it says start resume task list in dialog. I can click on this task list. Okay, now what it says over, if you see task list executed with the status manual activities required. If you see over here, it says task list in the status bar, task list run execution suspended. with the status manual activities required. So what is the manual activity? If you see over here, this is the log. If you see the log over here, actually it is asking you to go and read this SAP note. This is the manual activity. It is saying you have to confirm that you have read this SAP note, which was 2303900. I think this is no, this is different one. So you have to, this is just for information. If you're doing it for the first time, so SAP is telling you to go and read this SAP note for your information. If you have already read the information, what you have to do is that you just have to click on this icon, manual activities required, the man icon or something, this face, this figure item, this human figure item. You just have to click on it and you have to say confirm. You confirm that you have done this activity. You confirm that you have read this SAP note. After confirming this manual step, you just again have to click on execute start. Now if you run, or you see that, or it will start executing one by one all the steps which are given in the list, and it will take time. This is going to take time. I'm not sure how much time it will take, but I think this task might take something like half an hour or something, maybe, I think. So this task will take some time. So what you can do, you can keep this task running and you can directly move to the next task. You can mark it as in process and you can move to the next task. Again, you have to create another task list. You have to create another new window, new GUI window. Okay, again run the T code stc01. Here you execute the second task list. What task list is this? This task list is for activating enterprise search. Activating enterprise search. So you give this task list over here and again click on the execute icon. Just sorry, generate task list icon. So here you can see this is your task list. Okay, now in this task list, you can see that there are no manual confirmation. There is no manual activity required over here. Okay, but if you see in this column, if you see there are two, you can see there are two icons. You can see here in this icon, it is showing as a goggle icon, as a spectacle icon. Okay, you can see a spectacle icon. It means it is no need of changing this icon. It is only a read only information. But if you see these two, okay, what the pop-up says, fill parameters. You need to provide some information, some parameters for this step number, this set track destination, and also for this step, select models to create connectors. So first you need to click on this, the first icon, click on this icon. Here what you need to do is that use the SAP HANA primary DB connection default. Use the SAP HANA primary. The default option is already selected. You don't have to make any changes over here. You just have to press on save. Just click on save and come out. Once you click on save and come out, you will see that the icon has changed over here. You can see there's a, you can see it has already now filled up. Before it was blank like this, but now it is filled up. So this step has been completed. Okay, now you can now click on the second icon for fill parameters here. What does this say for this one? What you have to do over here, select a software component and its models, where it is here. Select a software component and its models. What you have to select? You have to select SAP APPLH. So in the drop down list, you have to select SAP APPLH. Okay, can you see over here SAP APPLH? So you have to select this model software component. So here you have to select the software component this and just click on save. This configuration, then move back. You can again see that it has completed. The icon here, you can see it has filled up now. It is not blank as per the previous. Now you can go and you can click on the execute icon. Just click on the start resume icon. Now I can start with this task list. So now what it says, long running task select detected. So this task is a long running task. This task list start or resume in background. So it is better to put this task list in the background, because if you put it in the foreground, it might get timed out. Okay, after 1 hour, it might get timed out. Acha, this task list takes around 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours something to get completed. So you have to just execute in the background and keep it running. Now it will take around 3 to 4 hours for this task list to get completed. So you can just keep it running. No need to make any changes. Okay. So there it is. This is completed. Now just keep it running. Now let me go back to my first task list. If I come on my first task, you can see this is also executing. This task list is also running. Okay, you can see in the status bar compiling. This task list is also compiling. So this is one is in process. My second task is also in process. Okay, if you want, you can put it on auto refresh. Set auto refresh timer maybe after every 60 seconds. Okay, so every 60 seconds it will update this screen. So you can see now. See, it has completed till this step, till the prepare step. Select models to create connectors. Now it is on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I think if you see on fifth, can you see the processing task number 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it is on the fifth task. This is the fifth task. Okay, if you see this 1, 2, 3, green, the green box 1, 2, 3, then the fourth one. Now it is in the fifth one. These three have been shall not be executed. These three tasks have been skipped. Okay, these three tasks has been skipped. So that is the why these are not counted. So the first 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth one, and it is now on the fifth task. So if you see on the task list in the status bar, it is now on the processing task fifth, 5 of the 9 one. Is it clear with everyone? Any query, any doubts?
So we can run parallel task lists, right?
Yes, normally see the ESH1, the ESH1 is a parallel one. You can start executing, and since it takes a lot of time, you can start executing it and you can keep it in the background and you can start working on the other task list. Normally this task list, I don't think it is recommended to run in parallel, but this ESH task list you can run in the parallel.
Okay.
So if you see, I'm only running the first task list, and this task list I'm running in parallel. So I'll wait for some time till my first task list complete, and then only I'll start with the third task list, the third step. The third step is for activate the ABAP gateway for SAP Fiori. It's going to take quite some time. Okay, anything else that you have any doubts and queries so that we can use this time for that?
Muzaffar, I have a question, but
Okay.
I mean, yep. So yesterday, while installing HANA database, we did not install Access Engine. Um,
Okay.
but later we realized
Express
we need
engine.
Access Engine also. Access Engine
Access.
that,
Okay, okay, access.
yeah,
Okay, yes,
Access
tell
Engine.
me,
Yes.
huh?
So when we installed that, it was successful and we
Hmm.
started recovery. We were
Okay.
copying a system.
Mm-hmm.
So we started a recovery from HANA Studio
Mm-hmm.
and it was failed, like saying Access Engine cannot be started and something like that.
It's a very, very old, you can say it's a very headache activity if you have access engine configured in one system and you are recovering on the second one. It's a very, very complicated, not complicated, but it rarely it gets completed. So let me H4D in the library somewhere. There is a very good article written by a lady. It is not here. Let me search HANA DB recovery in Access.
I can tell you the exact error what I was getting.
Yes, you tell me the exact
Name
error.
server cannot be
I
started, source
I
system
can see. Can
mapping.
you see over here?
Yes.
Accesses services not starting. I have a total folder, total folder on this. You can see what are the fail process, HDB accesses controller, HDB accesses controller not running. This is one error. HANA user sys underscore access runtime does not exist. Possible invalid access installation. XSA fails to start, restart, shutdown. What was your error?
Okay. So the first error was I'll tell you, name server could not be start, something like that, and then source system mapping, source system and target system mapping issue. So it had, I think, first error was like access source system had access engine, and the target system was not having access engine. That's why recovery was stuck. So we installed we installed access engine in the target system also, and then the error was access engine cannot be started, like that.
No, no, it's a very headache task. Let me see. These are the all the SAP nodes that have collected for this related to this backup and recovery. XSA fails to start, receive shutdown. Access controller now failed to start due to invalid license. How to recreate name server file, SAP HANA server host auto failover, HANA Access Advanced, HANA Authentication, Access a post install, HANA Access Advanced does not start, fail to start Access Controller.
Yes, so in diagnosis files we could see it was because of invalid license. Okay, so we tried to install the license, but because of HANA system is down, we could not install the license from Studio.
Installing Access Advanced in the tenant data, migrating SSH SAP HANA install using SGP. How to uninstall SAP code. Access a controller fails to start, renaming the restrictions. Normally, if you are doing, you did I think a backup restore.
Yes, backup is.
If you restore the backup into the same SID, you will not get this problem. But if you restore into a different SID, you will get this start getting this problem. So I think you have restored on a different SID.
Yeah, we were creating a sandbox system.
Backup and restore for SAP HANA Extended Application Services Advanced Model. So if you read this SAP note, backup and restore of SAP HANA Extended Application Services Advanced Model. You want to perform a backup of SAP Access Advanced and restore it in some later point in time. Reason you want to perform this backup, please refer the HANA Administration Guide backup. Okay, this I also referred this also. So actually, when you are doing a backup and restore, the problem is that now some of the information of your Access engine, it is stored in your file system. Okay, and when you do a backup, you only backup the database, and when you do the restore, it gets restored on your target system, but that information which is there in the source system file system has not come on your target system file system. So if you see over here, these are options over here. Backup with Access Advanced installed in the system database. If your Access Advanced is installed in the system database, then you need to backup the file system. Backup the file system service to. Then if it is installed in the tenant database, then again you have to backup the FSS. Then you have to take your backup list tenants and all, restoring Access Advanced from a backup image. Then after restoring it, then you have to go and you have to click on disable. So see, normally if you want to, it's a test system, I think you were saying, na?
Yes, yes.
So you can do one thing, simply just go there and run this command, access disable. Okay, yeah, your XSA will be disabled. I don't think you might be having any applications which are running on XSA.
No.
Because you are using S4HANA application server.
Yes, right.
S4HANA application server doesn't use any of the features from XSA. You can directly log in over here. I think I have the.
So this command we have to run from Putty.
1 minute, I will tell you that also. Users. Yes, you have to run it from the OS level. Access version, access login, access API, access spaces, access apps, access a tier. You have to log in with your SID ADM user, and then you have to run access disable. It stops the access advanced application and platform service and keeps them disabled until the next time SSA enable is called. Okay, and then in your SAP enable SAP restart access info shows the state of access advanced platform services. So in our case, if I go into my application server over here, I'm logged in with my SID ADM user. If I run XSA info. Okay, so I don't think it is installed because we have not installed the XSA, I think, engine. Access Advanced, only XS is installed. XS Advanced is not installed. XS Advanced, I think, believe it's a separate component. See, if you see over, no, sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, I made a mistake over here.
XSA is the current version. I think.
No, no, I executed the command from the application server. I need to execute it from my database server. So command not found here. This is access info. You need to install the access. If you see the components in your application server, see actually what we have done. We have only installed the HANA database.
Right.
We have not installed any other component. If you go on the service marketplace, if you try to download the HANA database with all of the components, it is a like I think 15 GB of package file. So that's
Yeah. See, it's complete
yes.
like DBT.
It contains AFL, the application front end library. It contains SDA, Smart Data Access. It contains the client along with and it also contains your access engine. These are all the additional
LC app,
components which comes with it.
studio, everything.
So in our case, we have not installed XSA. So that is why I cannot see the information over here. Normally, in your case, if you run this XSA info, you might get some information. Okay, so the best thing is that you can just go and run XSA disable. It will disable XSA and you will not get XSA errors over there. So this is this was the easy, like you can say, workaround which I found in my case.
Okay, we'll check that. I'll let you
Okay.
know on Monday.
So XSA diagnose, this is for how to diagnose it. XSA diagnose, there's a command for XSA diagnose. When you run this XSA diagnose, okay, you will you will check in this cat diagnostic results, you will find the errors over somewhere over here. See, this is the error. SQL invalid authorization exception DB authentication failed. The authentication was getting failed over here. And it was a long fight for me. So afterward I came to know that whatever users it is trying to find in the database, that is not installed. Sorry, that is not created itself in the database. So that's why I think the main error which I found was this. Where was that error? I don't remember. It's a long time back. You can see 30th January 2021. So it's almost, I think, more than a year, 1.5 years. Okay, XSA select XSA. Password for this user. DB to XSA admin. Failed to renew DB trust. Hey, somewhere in your file
it
you will
was,
also find this.
in our case also it was asking XSA admin user password and it was saying it's wrong.
The problem is that if you check in your database, there is no user by the name XSA admin. That is why it is giving XSA admin issue over there. It is over here. Okay, because it is trying to find this XSA admin, which is not finding it. So it is giving you a authentication error. Cannot connect over here. Okay, so I actually have gone through all these errors and all. So the best option which I found was that to just exclude this, disable this XSA.
Okay.
So this is XSA enable. If you try to enable XSA, fail to start CD trace. If you go over here, you will find this error in your trace file. Failed to execute command enable service access controller failed. Some kind of error where it is execute wait for configuration. This was the error message or something. That is CD trace failed to start. And I forgot that where is it users? No, not the users. I have that very good link also. I must have saved it somewhere. The access a command reference maintenance timeline DB in. I think this is the link which I'm looking for. Okay, let me have a look here also what's happening. Okay, it's executed completely. Can you see over here?
Yes.
The first task list is executed completely. Okay, we'll come back on this one. I will do one thing. I will execute the next task list and we'll use that time for our discussion. Okay, so let me come back. Now we have completed the first step. This task list has completed successfully. If you see BW setup, BW setup initial, this task is executed successfully. You can see all of the task has been completed successfully. All this green icon. come out of it. Second task list is still executing. If you come on the second task list, it is still executing. It is still on the fifth one, and it will take quite some time, maybe 3-4 hours more. So let me go on the third task list. What now, before this task list, what I need to do is that you need to install this SAP node. I need to apply this SAP node, then only I can apply for the third task list. So let me come to it later. Let me first finish off what I was saying. You see, maintaining tenant databases in Access Advanced. So this is all the screen over here. What happens in your Access Advanced, where the user created, what actually happens in the background. So in this Access Advanced and everything over here. So it's very actually quite a little complicated over here. You have to understand what how exactly Access works. Okay, this is the one. Then the second link. This is the link which I was talking about. In case if you are going for a backup and restore for a XSA enabled DB. Yes, this is the lady.
Yeah.
Raja Rajeshwari, or whatever it is, I think. So yeah, refreshing HANA systems involving XSA tenants. HANA specific HANA DB refresh steps. So here you need to go through this. So what this is your system DB. Then you have this XSA tenant. So you have different spaces. So there are spaces inside your XSA. So if you see in this screen, see there are different spaces, I think. Access Advanced, Access UAE, these are the spaces. One, the default is your SAP space, the SAP space. Then you other different spaces. In different spaces, you have different other many different things. So this is an introduction of your initial setup. Okay, this is for QWE, QWE, QER, QXS. In the scenario, we are going to refresh DWE with QWE. Well, this is your setup and all how to do. I think before you that you need to log in with the Access login and you check this Access apps. Then you need to check all this capture the list of MTRs B and all. It's quite a little complicated. Huh?
We should
Then
stop it in a source system and then take a
that
copy.
but if it's a production system, then actually see
Yeah.
XSA no, it's a front end platform. Do you get my
Yes.
point? It's a front end platform. See
Yeah,
right
it's
now how we have
application.
you can develop your own application on this platform. In this platform is itself running in the backend in the database itself, database layer. See, this is a different from your conventional databases. In your conventional database, backend means a database. Backend means a database, and front end means application which is connecting to your database. So your front end can be, for example, it can be a VB.NET yeah, application designed in VB.NET, ASP.NET, PHP, Java, C Sharp, C Hash, and many different things. Okay, and other programming languages, which you can with other in the other different programming languages, you can create your own front end, and then you can connect to the backend database to fetch the data from the backend. What HANA has done, they have integrated a front end application platform inside the HANA database. You can use that front end. So you have different languages which is supported by this XSA. If I don't remember if I've shown you this screen or not. If you see over here, the first one, this one is your XSA. See this layer is your XSA. Can you see?
Yes.
The application server. Okay, it contains your SAP HANA extended application, which is your XSA. Okay, and then there this it supports JavaScript, HTML5. Actually, there is another screen somewhere which shows how much what are the supported programming languages for each. It supports HTML5, it supports Java, SAP UI. Maybe I think there are 5-6 languages which is supported by this application. So you can directly go inside this application and you can write your own front-end application. Okay, you can create multiple database, multiple tenant database inside your HANA database, and you can create multiple applications inside your application layer in different spaces. You can create spaces in your this front end layer. Inside each space, you can create one. For example, you have 4 or 5 application created in your application this XSL layer. For example, you have created one attendance program. You have created an attendance front end. You have created in different pages, HTML5 pages with different programming languages, and you have saved them in one space, and you are using this application to connect to the tenant X of your HANA database. Okay, then you have written another program, suppose say like leave management or some other application, some related to some other programming requirement of your environment, industry, or company. You will create that application in another space, and you will connect to another tenant of your HANA database. So this is actually a very different requirement. Now in case of your SAP S4HANA, SAP S4HANA itself is an application server which doesn't require this XSA. XSA is for your additional requirement. So 99% of the time, this XSA is not required in your system where you have this SAP S4HANA application server. So normally it's better when you're doing the implementation for your in your organization to exclude this XSA. Okay.
Okay.
So that
So let's
quite
see. I'll try with the disable access and
access a drive with that, login with your SID admin user in your HANA database and run access info. If you find any access info, then you can just run access disable.
yeah.
Okay. So this is all information how we can do. You can see, or you can see rename space, and this it's quite a lot of activity related to that, and that also for something which is not used in the system. Actually, this all was done by, you can say, like administrators, or like consultants who are not aware with the database. Now in the starting, what they used to do, they used to directly go into the SAP portal. They downloaded the whole package of 15 GB, which comes with all different components, and they used to download install everything in the HANA database. Okay, they said no, let's not leave anything. Let's install everything in the HANA database. If you go to the base layer, even a HANA client is not required on the HANA database, because your HANA client is required for your application server to communicate with your database. So it is only
Yes.
required on your application server, because if you see, when we have done the installation, we have not installed the HANA client in the HANA database, only the HANA database server, nothing else. HANA server 2.0. We have installed the HANA client in your front end application server, because that is where the application which requires the HANA client to communicate with your HANA database. Now the one of this main thing which I faced in my initial days, maybe I think 7 or 8 months before when I started with the classes, every user was asking me the same question: sir, why are you not installing the HANA client with your HANA database? So that is it. Okay. And the third one is for your XSA command reference. These are all your XSA command. You can check for all the library for your XSA command, what all it is supported, how to enable, how to disable, and everything over here. Certificate, reset certificate. So that is it. Let me close all this. Go back. Okay, so what we are doing, we were on this third step over here. We need to implement, we need to execute this task list, but before executing this task list, I need to apply this SAP note. What is the SAP note? 25100134. So to apply this SAP note, I need to open the T code S note for applying the SAP note, S note. Okay, now before applying this, I need to download this SAP note. Before applying this SAP note, I need to download them from the SAP portal. So like how show I you can directly go over here in this. You can open the SAP support portal, support.sap.com. Okay, and then you can go into the notes page. There you can put the note number over here, and you can download that note. For example, this note is this is the note number. So here I'm opening this note. You can just click on this icon, on the download icon over here. and it will download. You can click on the download icon. This will download the SAP node in your local system. Okay, then you can upload this SAP node into your Bayesian host, and from there you can apply it into your application server. So now what I'm doing over here is that I have already downloaded this SAP nodes. If I go into the reference S node, I have all this Fiori related nodes. So what I need is this 2510134, then 2712785, okay, and then your okay, I think maybe I need 3 or 4. Let me copy the whole folder on my Bayesian host. So I'm copying the whole folder in the download section of my Bayesian host. Okay, so here I have downloaded all these SAP notes. Now let me start applying it one by one. So here I need to download. Okay, so now let me start with this S note 2510134. So here I am going at that. Here need to click on go to upload SAP note, and then go into the downloads. So let me go in the libraries. It is not here. This PC downloads Fiori and 2510134 and open it. Allow. Okay, so now here I can see my new note over here. So this note has only been uploaded on my application server. It is not yet applied into my SAP server. Okay, I have just uploaded the SAP note. So here you can see the can be implemented. You can see the icon. It shows it can be implemented. This note has been verified, validated. It can be applied or implemented in this system. Okay, if you want to implement it, just select the node and you can click on implement SAP node. Okay, now it is again asking for another SAP node. This SAP node has a dependency on this SAP node. Unless and until this second SAP node is applied in the system or uploaded in the system, you cannot implement the first one. Okay, unless and until the second SAP node is uploaded in the system, you cannot implement the first one. So the second one is 2639552. So let me check over here. 2639, can you see here? 2639552, the second one. This is the SAP node which is required. So let me now again click on upload. Click on upload SAP nodes from file. Now apply upload this 2639552. So I am uploading the second SAP node over here. Open, allow. Error doing RFC connection. So normally what happens when you are implementing any SAP node, it goes to the SAP portal. It tries to connect to the SAP portal and tries to download the latest version of the SAP node. Okay, for that thing your SAP application server should be able to connect to the SAP portal. That's a different thing. Okay, that is a different connection setup and all, because earlier that used to be done using the SAP router. You had to install a SAP router in your landscape, and then you need to create some RSC connections by the name SAP underscore OSS, and after that you can directly connect from your SAP application server. It can connect to the SAP application, SAP system via your SAP router and then SAP's SAP router. Okay, that was the thing which was done earlier. After now there's a different architecture. The architecture has changed. Now you have a different something called as an SAP support backbone in place. How that works is now SAP router has now been excluded from the architecture. What you need to do is that you need to go to SAP. You need to submit a request for a technical user. You need to submit a request for a technical user. SAP will give your technical user same which is same as your SAP S user ID. The technical user will be something same as your S user ID. You have to get the US user, the technical user. You have to set its password. Then you have to come and you have to, there is an task list over here in SAP system. There's a task list where you have to run that task list. When you run that task list, it's a very long task list. And when you run that task list, in that what it does, it configures your system for SAP support backbone. There are many steps involved. Okay, and then after in the last what it does, it creates two or three RFCs. One is for downloading SAP nodes, one is for parcel box, and one is for something nodes download. That it creates two RFCs, but those RFCs are not of the type 3 ABAP RFC to ABAP system. Those are the type of RFCs to HTTP connection. Means it's those are HTTP connection. So those RFCs, they directly connect to your SAP domain, SAP URLs. Okay, and with the technical user and its user ID, and they directly download the SAP node from those link or URL. Is it understood? Any query on this? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
No,
Mhm. Okay, so now here it is asking a RFC connection, to just click on OK. So you can see these are all the steps, these are all the changes, these are all the changes will be implemented, that will be applied into your system. These are, you can say, these are the code correction. These are some enhancement. These are the these are all steps. They contain some code correction or something over here. So this is over here. The last one, if you see, you can see a truck icon over here. So what is that actually? Actually, that is a, this is a manual correction. Okay, so okay, let us go ahead with it. As the thing, as the steps come, I will explain it there. So you get this screen, just click on execute, just click on implement all correction instructions together. implement all correction instructions together. Okay, do you want to confirm that you have read SAP note this 2134? Yes, just click on yes. So yes, I have read it. Do you want to confirm that you have read the SAP note 2639522? Yes. Okay, now it is asking for you to create a TR. So now you can see there are this is from my last TR. This screen is from my last TR log on screen pay image. I don't, if you want to add the same changes in the same TR, you can click on OK, but that will be a logical violation. So don't do this. Create a new TR for this. Create a new TR for your SAP node. And now what I'll give here, BC SAP nodes for Fiori activation. Give the description as SAP nodes for Fiori activation. Okay, and I've created a new tier SAP nodes for Fiori activation. Now click on here, enter, continue, and it will start implementing, applying all those correction instructions into your server system. So this is for object. You can click on it. You will see some details about it. See, these are all the correction information. If you are a developer, you will understand what is happening in the system, what has been changed, and what has been done. Okay, see, now you go back. Now just click on continue, enter. Okay, now again just click on continue, enter. Okay, so you can see the first one is implemented successfully. The first one implemented successfully. Now it went to the second one. Again click on implement. Objects can only be created in SAP package. Okay, this is just a information warning. Just if you click on the first tick icon, it will ask you multiple times. You'll have to click at least 8 to 10 times. See, if I click on this first icon, again it is asking second time, again it's asking for the third time. So better what you can do is that, okay, it's asked for the third 3 times. So now click on continue, enter. Okay, continue, enter. Okay, so 2 of these have been implemented successfully. Now it is on the third step. Again click on execute. Okay, now here don't click on the first tick icon, continue. It will ask you multiple times. You can click on the second icon, further for all. So for all this next screen, for all these objects can be created in package, it will take as yes. So just click on further for all. Okay, again click on yes. Okay, again click on yes. 3 errors found. Activate anyway is not declared as a table in this no table. This, so actually this is a SAP bug. Okay, so it is showing you, it is telling you if you want to see the error. So since we are not a developer, it won't help us if we see the error. So just click on activate. Objects not activated. Okay. Actually, I didn't receive this error in between before. I don't know why I have been received this error. Because previously I have not received this error. Mhm. Okay, now I think it has all everything is shows executed. Okay, again, this is just some manual repeat activities. Just click on execute, continue, continue. Okay, again execute.
Yeah, Musafir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. Savni, yeah, like, can we performing the backbone activity here?
I can't. Your voice is what?
Like backbone, like you told, right? The RFC connection are like established
Uh-huh.
from
Mm-hmm.
SAP to this our system.
Okay,
So
then.
downloading the this
Mm-hmm.
S notes
Yes, yes,
directly.
yes.
Can we performing that one?
See, if you want to perform that, I need all this technical user ID for that. Na? For technical user ID, I also need a license for my system.
Okay, okay, okay,
Okay,
okay.
so the
Got it.
problem is wherever license is there required, I get stuck from that point.
Okay.
If otherwise it is not that. If you see, let me SAP config. See, these are the, where is it? S trust S note. Okay. So these are the steps enabling S note for digital signs SAP note. This is called as SAP digital sign. So this is the report. This is the report that you need to run. RCWB TCI digit sign automation. You run
Okay.
this report, it will run everything. You don't have to mention anything further. Okay, it creates this RFC, the SAP support portal, SAP support node download, and it also creates
Mm.
something called the parcel box. So you just have to run this report. It's not a, you have to run this report. So create a new window. You can go into SA38, run this report. If you execute this report, see, these are the whole steps over here. See, out of
Mm.
this, all of these things are already executed in the system. No action
Okay.
required, no action required. Only what is replied, download and implement prerequisite nodes. If you click over here, it will show you what are the prerequisite nodes. Node number, this one, this is a prerequisite node, 2569813. You can do it manually. You can manually go download the SAP node, apply it into S node T code, and again come back and refresh over here, and it will the first step it will show as a completed. Then here at the SAP implement this, again you have to download this implement, then you have to this configuration. These are 4 or 5 steps. Once you do these steps, your SAP backbone from this application server to SAP server will be established.
Okay.
Okay, so it is not a very big major or complicated activity, but the only thing is that I need the technical user. If I get a technical user, then I can add those technical user in the RFC which is created. So once the
Okay.
RFC is created, then only you will be able to communicate with your sys user and all.
System is correct. Okay.
Okay, then again execute. Execute.
Muzaffar bhai,
Yes.
for this also we need a separate license for installing that one.
Which
Stag
one?
XML for one.
I can't get you. What?
For installing the file from the through some for Stag XML, do we need the license?
See, for executing some, you need a license for that.
Yeah, by
If you want
default,
to,
when we install, we'll get a license for 3 months, right?
no, temporary license doesn't count. You do
Okay.
it from your end. You install a system, you download some package, you run some and try to see if that works or not.
Yeah,
See,
it worked
yes,
for
yes,
me.
yes.
I tried it worked for me and applied also. It was
See,
done.
1 minute. See, you need a XML license, sorry, XML stack file for running some.
Yeah, it is
From where
downloaded
will you
no,
from where
already
will you get from where will you get that XML file?
through maintenance planner.
And maintenance planner, when you are running that maintenance planner, how will you run the maintenance planner?
That I
You
have
have
already
no,
downloaded the software.
you have to inform that this is the system for which I am running maintenance planner.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to, for example, you have like for example 10 systems in your landscape. When you run the maintenance planner, you have to tell them I want to run this for development, S4 HANA development, S4D, or for example S4 HANA quality, S4Q, S4 production, S4P, or maybe for your some other product. Okay, you have to mention that in maintenance planner. Where will my and where will the maintenance planner get this information from your SAP solution manager? So it means if your system is installed, if you upload, if your it is added in the solution manager, it will go to your maintenance planner. From there you can run the maintenance planner, and then only it will generate the XML file.
Okay. But
Okay, and
I
in the
have
XML file,
downloaded.
the XML file contains your system number. If you go into S license, in the S license, there is a field for system number, hardware key, system number. All these informations are recorded in the XML file. So you cannot generate the XML file for one system and again run it on some other system.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you are saying that you have done it, then how can you say that you have done it if you have not faced all this problem? Because I have run it multiple times and every step I face this problem because all the students request the same thing. Sir, please show us some solution, software update manager. For them, I have done 3 to 4 times. I have tried to take out I tried to find some method to run some without the license, but still I'm not able to find it. So
Because
I'm
when I
like
have
quite
generated this tag XML, right? It asked me the SID of the system. I have given it and I have selected the required components over there and
so you have
downloaded the
selected
required
it
software.
means it was already added in your maintenance planner. Your every landscape was
Yes.
in SAP, na. But here I'm running a lab over here. I don't have maintenance planner which will contain my system in that in this list.
Okay.
Okay, and I cannot use the XML file because in that XML file the hardware key and the system number, everything will be different.
Okay.
You got it? If you run the sum, it will directly give you an error. The system for which you are running this XML is different, something like this. I don't remember the exact error message.
Yeah, it says that the ID doesn't match, the details of the system doesn't.
Same, simple. So I cannot run in my environment, na. Okay, so after completing all the steps over here, now we have come to the last step, which is asking for a manual. If you see in the last step, it has opened one Excel over here. Sorry, it has opened a PDF. So what is the manual activity? Start transaction SA38. So here I think we already have here is an SA38, and what it is asking you to run. Okay, open a new over here. Open a new window and you can run SA38. Open a new program execution. Now what program it wants to execute? Okay, it wants to execute okay, execute the report note underscore 251013. So you have to execute this report. Okay, so just minimize this. Here you have to execute this web progression. Execute. Here in this step, you can test run, update and activate show log. So let me directly go into update and activate. No need for test run because I've already run this many times. So I will directly click on update and activate. Okay, so you can see over it has updated. You can see there were no error messages. Everything was done successfully. If you go again back, if you want to see again on the show logs, it will show you the same thing. Okay, everything is updated successfully. If you see over here, everything has been updated successfully. You click over and everything, so you can go back. You have completed this manual activity. This is called as a manual activity. So in some SAP notes you will also find manual activities. This is a very simple manual activity. You just have to go into SA38 and execute one report, but there are some more complicated activities also. You might need to go into some table. Might need to edit some changes. You might need to create some package. You might need to go and edit some program codes also. These are the manual activities. So in some SAP notes, it won't be like possible for you to single-handedly implement them. You might need the help of the consultant, of the developer, of the developer for this activity, because they will give you a PDF like this. Do this, do that, do this, create one buddy. It's also called buddy, BADI, and then do this activity, do this, do this. So if you cannot understand it, then you need to consult that particular consultant, and he will do this manual activity and tell you that okay, these activities have been done, now you can proceed. So now since we have executed the report successfully, we can come on this screen and we can click on okay. Okay, so it is so normal. Sorry, if you scroll down, this, if you are, yes, last time I told you about the truck icon. So last time when you, this is the truck icon. What does it mean? It means this is your manual activity. If you see over here, confirm all manual activity with the staple to be implemented next, and then confirm manual completion of the manual activity. So this is a manual activity. How will you confirm this? See, there's a checkbox over here. So you just have to click on the checkbox and it will get tick mark. It means this you have confirmed that you have done the manual activity. So what is the manual activity? To execute the report note underscore 2510134. So I executed that report and I have completed manual activity. I have checked this box. Now I can click on continue. Okay, so I have implemented both of this SAP note. This one which I have added and this one which it asks as a dependency of this SAP note. Okay, so this note was implemented. Okay, now run task list. Now this is the task list that you need to run after this. So let me copy this task list and execute here in this screen. Okay, now I'm executing this task list. This is the third task list. If you see over here, this is the third task list from the step 3. The first one we have completed, second one is still in progress, and the third one here it is executing. So here you can see this is the third task list. The second one is here, it is still executing on the 5th stage. Okay, this is the note assistant and this is the SA38. Okay, so now coming over here, so this is the task list. Let me check over here. Okay, you can directly go and execute the task list. Let me go directly and you can execute the task list from here. Start resume task list, run in dialog. Okay, let me click on it. So now it is executing the task list. You can see one by one it will complete all these activities over here. Okay, so
Hello,
if
Musa.
yes,
Hello, sir.
yes, Abhinay.
Yeah, for migration also we need the stack file, right?
For migration of what?
Like Oracle to HANA or like Service to HANA, like that.
Actually, if you see in the latest some package, let me check
Hmm.
if I have a screenshot for that. I taken a screenshot. Some screen. Somewhere I had taken a some screen. Now, if you download the latest some version, okay, from your
Hmm.
latest some version, 1 minute. Let me stop the sharing because some of this information is for my company. Okay, so this task
Yes,
list.
Mustafa. Yes, yes, I'm
Yes,
there.
actually, I stopped the recording because I was opening some of my company's screenshots and also I stopped the recording. So
Ah,
now I
okay,
have
okay.
again started it. Okay, so now let me. So this task list that from the third task list is done now. Now let me, okay, before starting with the fourth step, I again need to implement this SAP node. Okay, 2712785. Again, I have this open. Okay, let me go to upload SAP note 2712785. This is the SAP note 2712785. So here I'm uploading this SAP note. Allow. Okay, so here is your new SAP note. One more, just it's already selected. Just directly click on implement SAP note.
Hi, Muzaffar. Sorry to forgot. So,
Yes.
from which user we can run this STC01? From any user?
What you can run?
This STC01, all the task list.
See, it should have the authorization for it.
Mhm.
It should have that authorization. So normally, see, I'm running from a user which has SAP all authorization. In your environment, maybe for the development system, you will have a user which has SAP all. Maybe up till quality also, you might have a user which has SAP all. But for your production system, you might not have a user which will have SAP all. So you only have to make sure that all of the T code which is required in your execution, you should have the authorization for those T codes.
Okay.
Okay, that is it. Okay, so now, okay, error during RC connection. Okay. Okay. Again, you have here some non-transportable manual activity. This is a manual activity. So again, click on execute. Or do you want to confirm that you have read SAP note? Yes. Okay, now here I don't need to create a new transport because this is from the same. Okay, sorry, it is creating a new transport. If you see the heading, it is creating a new transport. Workbench request config task manager. It is creating a new workbench request. So just click on OK. Just click on OK. Okay, a new task will be created for the following request SAP admin. Just click again, click on OK. Okay, here I just click on continue. Again, click on continue. Execute. Execute. Okay, so now again it has come for a manual activity. Open. So here we can see run transaction SA38 update and run the report. This is a report for this uh, SAP note. So go over here SA38, instead of earlier one was 2510134. Now one is okay 2712785. Execute this report. Okay, here again you see just run on update and activate and execute. So you can see all of the steps have been completed successfully, and the last one it says activation. Transport has been updated. Everything is done. Okay, come back. I think this step is completed. Okay, now go back over here. You can click on this manual confirm. This is the confirm column. You have to confirm whether the manual step has been done or not. So just confirm it and just click on continue, enter. Okay, so this this S note has been applied successfully. This SOP note has been applied successfully. Now here it is. This has been done. Now the next step is you need to go into the SU25 T code. Go into the SU25 T code. SU25. Have you checked SAP note of a current information? Yes. Okay, now what you need to go do over here, profile generator from the menu. From the menu, select profile generator, step 1, execute. From the menu, profile generator, step 1 and execute. No, nothing, no selection, anything, just click on execute. Okay, the following copy may take several minutes. It takes around 7 to 8 minutes something, or maybe I think 10 minutes around for this to complete. So click on OK. Now it has started executing, loading. So what it does over here is that it loads it fills the profile generated tables. It loads the default values in these tables. Okay, and what it does, it creates a background job for this task. So if you want to see monitor this task, you can go, you can create a new window, and in the new window over here you can run SM, or no, just don't go for SM30. You can directly go for system own jobs. Click on the own jobs. It will directly show your own jobs which are running. So you can see for the one, you can see this one is the job which is currently running in the system, your job. The STCMT, this is the job. No, sorry, this job is for your the other STMS which is running. I think where is this other job? Let me go in SM37 and check SM37. Okay, SAP admin release active, execute. I cannot see. I think it's completed or what? No, it's still running. Loading default is it actually runs a job in the background, but I'm not able to see that job over here. Only check for the active job. No need for the finish and the cancel job. I cannot see the job active, any active job over here. Okay. We will wait for some time for this to execute or to complete. Okay, we'll wait for it to finish. Any doubts and queries on this?
No, yes.
Okay, let us take an 5 minutes break over here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll
Okay.
continue after. We'll wait for it to finish and then we'll continue. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's completed successfully. Can we start now? Continue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so this SU25 it completed successfully. After doing this, you have to run this task list. SAP Fiori Foundation S4. Okay, now coming back again over here. So let me. There is already a screen open. So this was my previous task list completed successfully. I'm coming back Go back on the screen, and now I'm executing this task list SAP Fiori Foundation S4. Click on the generate task list run. So it will generate all the steps which are required for the task list. Okay, so this is the task list run. These are all the steps for this task list. Foundation S4. SAP Fiori Foundation S4. Okay, there is any kind of there is no steps and all. Just click, just execute your start resume task run in dialog. Execute it. So this one is in process now.
I have a question. Hello.
Yes, Sana.
So, like we are doing it on embedded system, right?
Mhm.
Our Fury will be on the backend system, and Fury will be on the same system, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And now, if we have that central hub one where we
Mhm.
install Fury on a separate server,
Okay.
so where do we need to run these task list, in the backend or in the Fury?
Okay, so actually, I was like thinking whether I should take up that topic or not, because I don't think people, I think, quite not that active. So I was not trying to open that topic. So now it's very good that you asked this question. So let me explain you over your recipe. Okay, not in the HANA. SAP Fiori. So before answering your question, let me explain like what is types of deployment, because you have asked this question because you know the background. I think other people might not have the background about it. So what is the in Fiori? You have two types of deployment option. Deployment option means how you can deploy Fiori, implement Fiori in your environment, or sorry, in your landscape. So you have two types of, one is the embedded deployment and the other is the standalone central hub deployment. So what happens in an embedded in, see, so here it is SAP Fiori front end user interface components are deployed and installed alongside within the same SAP S/4HANA system. So it means the SAP apps, the Fiori apps that you will be using, which is here referred as the front end user information component. So these are the Fiori apps. These Fiori apps are deployed and installed alongside within the same SAP S/4HANA system called as embedded deployment. So it means the Fiori applications, the Fiori front end server. It is also referred as Fiori front end server, and the S/4HANA system both reside in the same system, that is called as an embedded deployment. And the other is where your SAP front end server is installed on a separate system, and S/4HANA is a separate system. That is called as a standalone central hub deployment. Standalone central hub deployment. This is an example. So this is an embedded deployment. What happens in embedded deployment? Your SAP Fiori front end server. See, if you see the first of your SAP Fiori. So if you see over here, your SAP Fiori user information, these are your Fiori application apps and your SAP backend. Now here you are referring to your application server as a backend. Okay, when Fiori comes into picture, your application server becomes the backend and your Fiori becomes the front end. So you will be using the Fiori. Fiori will be fetching data from your S4 HANA system. So both of them resides in the same system. It can be on premise or it can be on cloud also. So this type of deployment is called as an embedded deployment. Okay, and if you want to read further about it, there is a link over here in the bottom. You can go open this link. Okay, this is a link from Fiori, embedded deployment of SAP Fiori front-end server. Okay, and one more thing, if you see over here, it is saying here is recommended. So SAP is recommending you to go for the embedded option. Okay, now the central hub deployment option is now been deprecated or no longer is actually it is not recommended by SAP. Okay, it is recommended by SAP since I think maybe like for last 4 or 5 years. So SAP is recommending if you are having an S4 HANA system, then go with the embedded option. Okay, and this is the details of the embedded option. What is an embedded option? What is this and all the here over here. Second is your Okay, second option is this is your standalone option. So what happens in a standalone option? Your backend system. Okay, your S4 HANA system is a separate system and your front end system is a separate system. Your backend system is separate and your front end separate system is your Fiori front end server is on a separate system and your SAP S4 HANA is a separate system. That is called as the standalone hub deployment. If you want to check the details of it, you can check this link. This link is for the embedded deployment option, and this one is for the standalone central hub deployment option. Now here you have understood what is a central hub deployment and what is this apply. Now coming to the question from Sadhana, that how to understand where to run this task list. So for that, okay, well, for your more information, if you go here in this Excel sheet, in the library sheet, you will find many good options for this Fiori. You can have a good read about it. So if you need to, if you want to learn more or go deep into it, you can check with these options. Okay, so here is the history of your SAP Fiori. What happened started from SAP S4 HANA 1709. There you had the Fiori front end server 6.0. Then 6.0 as it changed to SAP FES 2020. Then 2021, 2022. So these are your upgrade roadmap. Okay, these are all the details of each and every products development or origin and everything. Then you have this rapid activation. So this is a rapid activation, how to activate Fiori on your system. Okay, now what I was showing you was that okay, here in this link, if you check this link, okay, automatic activation of embedded deployment SAP Fiori. If you scroll down, you can see a table over here. Okay, yeah, Sadhana, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so if you see over here, on one system in the same client, SAP GW Fiori ERP, one client setup. You need to execute all this. It will include all these activities and only for the embedded deployment related system client. Rapid active fluorescence. I think I missed that link. I think this was the, I think whether this link has been changed or no, what, because here it only used to get the information on which system you have to run this task list. Rapid activation of SAP Fiori. Okay, 1 minute. I think I have this sheet with me. Fiori. Okay, so here if you see, I had this one. So here this is my front end server Fiori, and this is my back end server. So if I have a different, if I have a standalone central hub deployment, so these are the task list that needs to be run on the front end server Fiori server, and on the back end you only need to run this task list SAP to gateway trusted configuration. Okay, and then yes, I think that's the only task list that needs to be run in the backend system. Otherwise, all the task list has to be run in the front end system.
Okay. Okay. So, or else we can
Ah,
manually
yes,
create that trusted RFC in the backend system. That can
yes,
also be
but that's a little complicated.
done.
So it's better if you go with this task list option.
Mhm.
Okay, unless and until you have very good control understanding of how it happens. So this is the link for it, prerequisites. Okay, here, yes, this is the link. So here, these are the task lists. If you see on this one, especially for this one, SAP gateway, you use this task list on the backend server to create. So this is the task list that you need to run on the backend server. Otherwise, all the task list has to be run on the front end.
Okay.
In this link, it is mentioned clearly where you have to run each of these task lists.
Okay.
But this is only for your central hub deployment, which is no longer in use or no longer recommended by SAP. So that is the why I
Okay.
have retired these options and this
So,
line from here.
if it's not recommended, then why? Like, it's actually additional cost also because we need to have additional server and all.
Actually, see, and actually S4 HANA came afterward. Before that, there was an ERP system.
Mhm.
Okay, and then ERP system, if you install all these apps in the same system itself, it becomes a little, you can say, resource hungry type of it. The application server used to get very this congested, but now after the introduction of HANA, S4 HANA, now putting all these apps in the same system is like it's okay. Do you get my point? So you can compare your ERP system as in Maruti this Centro, and your this one your S4 HANA system something like as a SUV or a, like a Innova. So your Maruti Centro is a 4-seater, Innova is a 7-seater. So it can accommodate more tasks or more load on your system. So that is the way now it is recommended to go with the embedded option. In the previous environment, in the previous landscape of ERP, you had to install it on a separate system. That was recommended by SAP to install it on a separate system.
Okay.
But now with the introduction of this S4 HANA, SAP has recommended to have this your front end application server in the backend itself.
Okay. In the S4 HANA server itself.
Yes, that is it.
Okay. So, in that case, we need to run that task list also, that SAP to
No, that
trusted
is
RFC.
different. That is different. Nothing. No, whatever task list is given over here, you need to run this. And
Okay.
actually, see, actually, what we are doing right now, we are doing a mass activation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in your environment, all this step, all these tasks might not be needed as well. Okay, but that understanding, that expertise will come to you when you will understand what all options are there. For example, when I execute this first task list, BW setup initial S4 HANA. So when you are installing your production system, you might not these features of facility, these options into your production server for the BW analysis and everything. Okay, if you don't need this, you don't need to run this task list.
Okay.
What we are doing over here, we are doing like a, you know, sarvajanik, everything, like we are just trying to see all the options, how to do a mass activation so that everything works on your system. So most of the things won't be required, so you don't need to execute those also. So here is that, if you want to see, if you want to go have some deep understanding, I will recommend that go through all this one, basically from this Mahesh Sardesai links over here. It is more in detail, everything related to each and every task list. What is it required for each and every task list, and where it is required, and everything over here.
Okay.
Okay, now we have executed this. Okay, you can see this our SAP Fiori Foundation S4 task list has executed successfully. This one from the step 4, it has executed successfully. Okay, our fourth task is executed successfully. Now, before moving to the fifth and the last step, what you need to do, assign roles to the test user. Okay, so if you have a test user, so let me go into SU01. So right now we don't have a test user, but we have an SAP admin user. So just modify those user, edit this user, and apply these two roles. Apply these two roles: Z Fiori Foundation admin, Z FLP admin. Apply this role to this user over here. Okay, here I will be applying the role to this user. Okay, and save it. If you don't apply this role to the user, when you open the Fiori login page, the Fiori the Fiori page, it will be blank, totally blank. Only after assigning these two roles to the user, you will see some tiles on the screen. Okay, now we have assigned the roles to these two roles to the user. Now what you need to do, you can run this T code to get the URL of your Fiori. Otherwise, you can also copy paste this one, because normally your SAP Fiori URL is common. If you don't know the URL, if you don't know the URL of your SAP Fiori, you can run this T code. Okay, you can run this T code, or you can directly open a web browser and you can paste this T code. You can directly paste this T code over here. Can you see warning, potential risk ahead, advanced? Before the activation, if you open this URL, you will get a 500 error, service not accessible, something like that. Okay, accept at the risk and continue. Now it will ask you for the username. It will give you the login page. See, here I'm getting the login page, the user and the password. So I have the user SAP admin and give the password. Now click on log on. Now this is my Fiori page over here. This is the Fiori page of my application server. The first time when you log in, it takes some time. Even to show the tiles on the screen, it takes some time. In case if you don't know the URL for your this one, you can directly go and you can run this T code from here /UI2. But if you run this T code, it will not run. It will give you an error. Can you see the
Slash
function is not
N.
possible? Yes, it will not run directly over here. You need to add /n and then only you can run this T code. Any T code starting with a slash, you cannot execute it directly, because it is trying to read the /u as a switch and it is failing. So what you need to do is to run it the /n. So now it is executing that. It will open the web page. See, it has opened the web page for you. Where what web page it has opened? As for this, you can just click on add, close. By default, it tries to open in your Internet Explorer. Ask me later. Okay, and do not show in the future. Okay, if you see, it is opening the same URL which I have copy pasted. So in case if you don't have the URL, you can run this T code to get the URL. So this is your page. It is not showing the icons or the tiles. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. It takes some time for the first time to load the screen. If you want, you can click on the refresh page once. Okay, can you see the tiles over here? So these tiles is for the Fiori Launchpad. Manage Launchpad apps, manage Launchpad business catalogs, manage Launchpad spaces, and these are all your administrator related tiles. So just to give you a feel of the web page, I've added this role which is giving you these styles. Your end users will not be added with these roles. You don't have to assign these roles to the user. Here, the consultant, your functional consultant, for example, your a finance consultant, he will create a role for the user, for the end user. He will assign the Fiori apps that is required for those role. For example, for uh, ledger posting, or for creating ledgers, and in HR for creating master data, creating some employee record, creating editing employee record, and this and the different type of apps, different types of function, different types of roles. The functional consultant will create the roles for you. Your task will just to be add that role to that user, and that user will get his related tiles on the screen when he logins to his Fiori page. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, now what happened? We have done till now. Till now, what we have done, we have just created a blank, just you can say a vanilla Fiori launchpad. Now, when you want to add some apps into it, so directly you cannot go and create a role and add the apps into your Fiori application server, Fiori front end. Before adding that role, but before adding that, creating that role, okay, sorry, after creating that role, you need to activate those apps in the background. You need to activate those apps. Now if you come over here, you need to run execute this two this is for the Fiori content activation, this is for the Fiori FCM activation. Content activation for business role, this is content activation, I think, sorry, this is for FCM, I think it's Fiori content manager, something like this. So these are the two task list that you need to run to activate the roles, business roles. So before that, you need to apply this SAP note. Again, you will go into the S note tier, go to upload SAP note. What is that node number? 2686456. 2686456. Here it is. 2686456. Open. Theory setup content activation for SAP business rules. Okay, this is the Fiori setup content activation for SAP business role. Let me execute it. Error during RFC. Okay. Okay, again, just execute it. Yes. Okay, again, it is creating a new request. Okay, just click on OK. Again, it is creating a new task list. Sorry, no, it is creating a new subtask. Okay, so now this is the manual activity. What is the manual activity? Run transaction SA38 or SA execute the report. This is a report that you need to execute. This is a report underscore post. So go into SA38, execute this report, update and activate, execute it. Okay, everything executed successfully. Just come out of it and you can just click on confirm manual task, enter. Now after you completed applying successfully applying the SAP node, now you can start you can execute this SAP Fiori content activation task list. Okay, now let me go into this task list. This last task list was successful. Now go back and run the new task list, SAP Fiori content activation, and start resume. Okay, if you see over here now what happens, so if you see this is a role that it will activate, select confirm SAP business role for FLP content activation. So right now if you see over here there are 0 roles selected. It means we don't have any roles in the system right now. If you come and check over here, there are no roles in the system. Okay, the reason is that we have not installed the Fiori front end application server or component on this application server. If you want to see that, you can go into system, status, and then click on this one, details, and click on the installed product version, not on the component version, but click on the installed product version. If you click on the product version, see we have only installed S4 HANA on premise. There is another component which is called as a Fiori foundation and another component Fiori front end server. These are the two components. Those component contains all the Fiori Fiori apps. Those components contains all the Fiori apps, but right now it is not included in our application server because it doesn't comes by default. When we download the application server from your SAP portal, we only download the base release. The Fiori front end server and the Fiori foundation, all those components are not included with the base release. So how can you download that? After installing your application server, you need to download sorry, you need to run a maintenance planner on your for this system, this application server, and in your maintenance planner you have to select that you want to install Fiori foundation and Fiori front end server. When you select those components and when you run the execute on your planner, it will do a calculation of this system, what components are currently installed and what is your target component, what is the target version. It will do all the calculation of the components. It will calculate and give you the list of all the Fiori support packages that needs to be installed to get this component installed on your application server. So after running the maintenance planner, you will get two things. You will get the list of all the packages which you can transfer to your download basket, and from the download basket you can download all those packages in one directory and copy it to your application server. And second, you need to download the Fiori XML stack XML file. Download the stack XML file also into the same download directory, and from there you need to run some. After executing some, you can install this those two additional components into your application server. After adding those components in the application server, here in this option you will find a lot number of roles, maybe around 500 to 600 roles, business roles, which are related to default or standard, or sorry, not default, standard, which are related to standard Fiori apps. Okay, right now we don't have it because we don't have that component installed. So right now if you execute this task list, it will execute in just a few I think not maybe that 1 or 2 minutes. So if you want to execute, if I execute this task list now, okay, see here it is giving me error because see it is we have not selected any role. So what you need to do over here, you need to exclude this task from the task list. Why? Because you cannot add the roles, because you can only add the roles when you have to install the component. We cannot install the component because it requires some requires license, and this is the dependency tree. So that is why we are not installing those two components, and hence it will give you an error. So you need to uncheck this box over here, uncheck this box, and then again you can click on execute. Okay, it just executed in like maybe to 5 or 10 seconds. It didn't take time. But in your environment, if you have downloaded all those, if you have installed all those components, if you have installed all those, sorry, if you install those two components, Fiori Foundation, Fiori front end server FES, in your application server, you will see a lot number of roles over here. If you want, you can select, you can go for a selective role, or you can activate all the SAP standard apps. So from here, you just have to click on this, and you have to select all the apps which are given over here. Okay, you can click on this icon, select all, or select, you can select selective ones. After doing this, you can execute. This will take a lot later time, maybe I think 1 or 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours also, for activating those many number of business roles. Okay, so after activating of this one, then you can run for your second one, which is your, okay, before that you not need to run this apply this Fiori, sorry, this one again, come back over here. What is this 28139396? Go to upload SAP note 3396. So this is the last SAP note 3396. Okay, select this SAP node, click on implement. It is asking for you this 2739. I think click on upload from the file 2739 39383. This is one. Okay, error doing RC connection. Okay. Okay, click on execute. Yes. Yes. Okay, same 19. Just click on OK. Okay. Okay. Okay, now comes the manual task. What is it? Run the SAT code, run this node. This is the node. Execute this node. Execute, update, and activate. Okay, it is asking for this one. You can put it in the last one. Okay. No activation necessary. Okay. Okay, so everything is done. Move back. Come into here. It is okay. Click on confirm and execute now. Okay, note has been successfully implemented. Now I can go on the task list sheet, and now I need to execute this last task list. Execute this task last sheet for activating business roles. And click on start. Okay, load program class mismatch. Okay, no problem. Maybe I think we are running a task list in the background. So maybe because of that, it might let me again run STC01. Okay, again click on execute. Okay, so this is the task list. Again, if you see over here, you have some roles over here. Okay, in the last one, you didn't had any roles, zero, but here you have some roles. How many roles? You have 59 roles. Out of zero are selected. So you can now click on this icon, and here you can select the roles that you want. You can see SAP role for KPI framework, KPI modeler. Then you might have for this one SAP Lumira server role. So this is safety manager, employee EPM, Fiori reference app. These are some SAP provided by SAP. SAP for role for new style. Okay, SAP role for new style, SAP UI flexibility, SAP upstream networking model. So I think this is the role for SAP role for new style. Let me do one thing. We will copy some role over here. Let me see if you can. I will copy this role. SAP new style catalog role for all apps. VDM viewer, price inquiry, app extensibility, landing page personalization, UI services, key user. Environmental technician, environmental manager, hazardous substance manager, SAP role for KPI framework. Let me take these 2 3 roles over here. KPI more framework, KPI. Okay, so this is I have done this. Now let me you can let's not select every role. I will only select these 2 3 roles, this one and the last one for your SAP role for new style. I will only select this role, save it, go back. Now you can see you have only selected 3 roles over here, selected 3 of 59 roles. Now let me execute it. Okay, it will might take some time, 4 5 minutes or something, or maybe 2 minutes. Okay, I think it's almost completed. Okay, can you see? So all the roles have been activated. Now this task list has completed successfully. Okay, now let me, I'll do one thing. I will assign this role to my user. Let me assign this role to my user. Let me go into /NSU01, change roles. Let me add the new roles over here, enter. Okay, and save it. Come out. Now this is my screen. Let me open a screen for my new. So cannot load tile, KPI modeler, Fiori launchpad. This is for the Fiori launchpad. See, this was the screen from your previous one. This was the tiles which came from your previous 2 roles. The 2 roles, this one, these 2 roles. Okay, now if you see this, if you see the KPI modeler, this is coming from that role. But everything says that actually the backend, I think it's not completely. I think the backend application has not been configured. Maybe something has to be done from the consultant sides. Okay, so which is not done. So that is the why I think it's not functioning. Even if you see it, it's nothing functional. If you click this previous the Fiori Launchpad tiles, you will see all the related screens and applications working in here. I think this is it. There's nothing here. Go back. Then for your business launchpad catalog. Okay, this is your business launchpad catalog and all. This one is still in progress. Okay, see, this is your screen over here. This is for Launchpad Content Manager. Okay, okay, just give me 1 minute. Yeah? Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So here it is. You can see this is for your manager and everything. So if you go back, you will see the other tiles. You can check with other tiles. Manage launchpad spaces, manage launchpad pages, and everything. If your computer application cannot be loaded. Okay. So this is completed here. The S4 is still loading. Sorry, that task list is still not completed yet. So this was the task list. I think it is still not completed. It will take another, I think maybe 2 hours or something like that. Okay, is it clear with everyone? Any doubts, any queries? Yes, anybody there?
Yes. So no doubts as for now. Can you go to that launch pad? I have a very
Okay.
silly question.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so when we open that first page, I mean, what is like to which we call catalog and to which we call apps? I just want to know.
Actually, catalog is something which is created in the background. I cannot show it from here or something like that. It's a very let me see if I can try to make sense into that.
And you showed me that lady, that lady's
Link.
what blog for XSA engine. Can you please share that link with me?
Yes, I will. Where is that? I am putting it in the chat box. You can copy it from there.
Okay, sure.
Yes, I have copied in the chat box. Okay, now role-based dynamic charts, color coding, workplace notification, personalization, grouping.
Or we can like get this answer in next class. Maybe you have next
Yes,
class
let
at
me
6:30.
prepare for. Yes, I will get back to you. We'll take it up next time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, everyone else. So let us wind up for today. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. See you.
Bye, Musaffar.